Hello, hello. Hey, Boolean. So let me know if I sound okay. I'm trying a new mic positioning that works better, hopefully, for me. So if it works the same for the stream, then I think we're good. So basically, this pop filter, instead of circling around the top where it was blocking my view, it's now circling around the bottom. And now the weight will angle a microphone this way by default. Hey, Chevalton. So if I sound roughly the same or, yeah, I don't know, like negligibly different, then great. And we can get to work. So let me know. Does it sound the same? Does it sound clear? Roughly the same? Okay, yeah. All right, cool. So we left off yesterday with a commit that I did not clean up. So we're going to go clean that up. This file looks fine. What is this? The town hall has a slightly different structure. That's okay. And yeah, how's it going, Boolean? How's it going, Chef Halton? I am looking forward to getting this back in playtesters' hands and seeing how is this game taken. We are a ways away from that, though. That's where all this balancing work has come in, getting content, making sure it's up to snuff. This changed, but not in a meaningful way. Yeah. Things are great. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I think there have been some very productive streams. I think yesterday my brain felt a little bit off, and maybe it was a one-off, so we're gonna see. But my wife woke up this morning and she's like, I think I'm sick. So I wonder if I'm also going to get sick, if that's what was the cause of the brain fog yesterday. Who knows? All right, this I want to come back to. This is totally fine. This is also totally fine. This is good. Yeah, most of these files are going to be uncontroversial. So this is, oh, it's not typing out the summary thing. Adds a skill button to this skill tree after the, why do we do this? We do this currency change. I don't like this. I want to look at this some more. Hey, Bedro, hey, Flare. Impending doom, well, hopefully not. And hopefully my wife gets better pretty quickly. Today's the day that Kirby Air Riders comes out. And I pre-ordered it. So I should get it probably this evening, actually. And I'm having some friends over on Saturday to play it. Well, this isn't really an existential crisis. I know why I had done things this way. I just want to figure out, is there a better way to do this? So whenever you upgrade the town hall, we want to add a bunch of skill buttons, which we could just make this public, and then afterward call a function to update the currency. So adding a skill button on its own isn't enough for this thing to update the currency. Well, couldn't we just do this though? What is Kirby Air Riders? It's the sequel to Kirby Air Ride, which was a racing game, but also it had this mode called City Trial, which I think was really cool. Kirby Air Ride City Trial. And this, I think, was brand new for me, this concept. So it was as open world as you could get for a GameCube game. So you like race around this world and you'd break stuff and collect power-ups. And you did that for about 5 minutes. And then after the 5 minutes, there was an event. And based on what power-ups you got, you might be better in a certain event. So for example, if you got top speed and it was a race, then awesome, you might win. If you got like attack and defense and it was a battle, then you might win that. And maybe there were some that like made you glide farther. Some of the events were kind of lackluster. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. And it was a multiplayer game. And I'm pretty sure it was one of the few games to have LAN connectivity on GameCube. So you could play with like 12 people or something, which probably no one ever really did, because who had like 3 GameCubes and 3 TVs and 3 probably broadband adapters and Ethernet cables and whatever else. Yeah. Anyway, the sequel to that comes out today. What are you doing right now? Reviewing yesterday's changes? I've never been here so early. I'm reviewing yesterday's changes that I didn't actually commit yet. Usually we're starting in kind of a blank slate, but not today, because like I said, I had some brain fog yesterday and I didn't want to commit code without reviewing it when I'm feeling fresh. Hey, James Warner. Kirby Air Riders Party? Oh, yeah, but only for me. I'm not streaming it. Never forget the washing machine looking car. What a magical game was. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Probably the same people who got the Linux upgrade kit. I hadn't even heard of that. I had a modem for the GameCube, and I had it so that I could play Phantasy Star Online, actually online. And that was a lot of fun. That was in a time where I think the only other console to really do this was Dreamcast. Like to actually have a sort of an MMORPG. It wasn't really an MMO, but to have something like that playable from your console. Now it's pretty commonplace. If you release an RPG, it's not like it's hard to put it on other consoles. Well, not compared to the effort of making an RPG. Hey Shiki, how do you type with so few keys? So in general, it's using layers. And I've got a whole keyboard video here if you want to check out the full story. But think about it like this. If you want to type an exclamation mark or a $sign on your keyboard right now, you probably don't have a key to do that. You type Shift and 1 or Shift and 4, at least on, American QWERTY keyboards. So it's this concept of like you entered another layer to change all the symbols on your keyboard. I'm doing that a lot over here too. So I have letters, I have numbers, I have symbols, I have arrow keys. And I don't really have to move my hand for any of this stuff. Okay, so we call currency changed, and this goes through each thing and calls currency change. So can't we just call this on the button? Sounds like we can. So, and we even have the town here, so I'm not totally sure. Oh, wait, we were doing that. Wait, no, we're calling it on the whole table. We just need to call it on the button. Is that not public? It has to be public. Otherwise, how are we doing that? Yeah, so can't I just do this? Purchased skill button, and then button.currency changed? Yeah, that is much better. Okay, I like that a lot. Is that ergo friendly? I mean, yeah, it is. Is there not more room for ambiguity when you have fewer keys? So it's just instead of shift, and that's kind of it. Imagine if you had shift and you had like other shift and you had different shift. Then you need to keep these in your head of like which layer are you entering. And there are other ways you can make this easier. You could use the LEDs on the keyboard. Some people have OLED screens where they say what layer they're in. You could probably even have like a little indicator on your computer itself. But in general, it feels pretty natural. So it's like when I want to use the arrow keys, my hands just naturally go into this shape. And when I want to use numbers, my hands naturally go into this shape. And it's, yeah. It's actually more than 3 that I have. But anyway, yeah, this whole keyboard command shares everything that's there. All of my layers are here. So there's base. This is the case on any keyboard. If you're not pressing anything, what happens when you finally do press a key? And almost always it's going to be that you type a letter. So yeah, same thing on here. If I just type random keys, they're letters. Then I have a symbol layer, number layer, function keys, navigation, and some other things like media. So I can change the volume. Or I can move the mouse around. All of my layers. And I will evolve them into hives pretty soon. So couldn't we just do this no matter what all the time and just put this here? In fact, why doesn't init? I guess init doesn't know about the town. Yeah. Yeah, and then that's it. We delete this. And now it's even better. And that's going to break this. Not anymore. Okay, hopefully that works. Let's try that. SC2 reference. Actually, isn't it the same in StarCraft 1? Wasn't it hatchery, lair, hive? All right, new game. I'm not actually certain that I can get this to work, so let's try this. So let's try the garbage slime first. We can't afford this. This is looking fine. Then we build this, and then this. And that's looking fine. That was garbage slime first. Now let's try garbage slime second. So we build a town hall, and that, and then that. Yeah, looking good. Okay, that is much better. These are the reasons why I want to look over the code again, because I was like, this doesn't sit well with me. But now this looks great. Okay, this is another thing that doesn't sit well with me. Player ability. Oh, wait, no, now we don't need to do this anymore. What is that sound? Oh, there's a USB cable dangling and it's rattling against something. Okay, I just moved it. I don't know if you could all hear that. All right, so whatever this used to be, I want to set it back to that. Protected. Okay, protected. And that should not cause any problems. Will it build? Should. Why is this taking so long? Yeah, it built. Okay, cool. That problem is solved too. We're solving everything. So this, I think, is uncontroversial. Yeah. this looks very normal. Oh, except for this. Okay, so let's go take a look at that. That's 982. Hello there. Hey, Xyletics. So I wanted to put this into where? Put it into Town Hall. Problem is, if we do this, it needs to be done after the UI, because the whole point of this is that it's calling into this thing, which makes me think that we shouldn't do things this way. We have a load from save data. Can't we just make load from save data call this correctly? I don't know. I got to think about this. Hey, Redike? Redike? How do you pronounce your name? Hey, Adam, do you have any interest to make your game on chain? I know it's not something people care about. Do you have any interest with apps, etc., built on chain? No, none. Yeah, I don't think it provides any value. And I think the sort of, proposed value of making any game on chain is not realized by a game and could just be done by making it off chain and having a server somewhere. Then again, I'm not super plugged into what are the most popular blockchain based games. I just know that a lot of them have been cash grabs. All right. How do I want to do this? So this is only ever called from one place right now. And the town could just directly call into this. But it really shouldn't have to. So if we do eventually do multiple things, I'd want the town hall to control this. Yeah. And the only reason this is even potentially bad is that someday in the future I might forget why the order of this was that way, but that's why we write a comment, I guess. Oh, you might not even have the town hall. Also, I need to make it first, and then anything else use the town hall? Create town hall. Why doesn't this do that? Making the level. This does do this. It just doesn't call this twice. No, it doesn't do this. Wait, whoa, wait. This doesn't even ever take in. Okay, I'm confused. All right. We have a problem. Oh, technically we... No, I see. The level is only used here. Okay, so you only create the town hall once. I should probably put that in an if statement. Set the graphic based on the level. All right, so if this is less than or equal to 0 or town hall is not null. Still not certain how I want to do this. If we create this here, this thing won't listen for it, but then we call load from save data. Nothing is going to trigger the perks panel tab to call this. No. All right, well, let's write down the problem here. So problem, I create the town hall, then load the UI, then I need to upgrade the town hall so that the perks panel gets the new perks. So option 1 could be get rid of upgraded town hall and just call into the perks panel directly. I don't like this because something else may need to know when you've upgraded the town hall. And I don't want the town dispatching those effects individually. Option 2 would be to have the town's load function upgrade the town hall sequentially, which is what it's doing now. Just doesn't feel like that code belongs there. Option 3 would be have the town hall know how to load itself. This might work, but it might rely on some other ordering here. I guess what actually accesses the town hall? So this stuff does, but what else? The sign, which is fine. This, which is fine. This is fine, I think. Yes, that's fine. That's maybe not fine. Signs, where do we load signs? Right here. So yeah, we need to create the town hall before that. Or actually, this hides the sign correctly. So never mind, that shouldn't be a problem. All right, what else? That's fine. And that stuff's all fine. Okay, then never mind. I don't think we have a problem here. I think we just create this and then load after the UI has been done. This should be done after the UI is loaded so that new perks get added correctly by having an upgraded town hall. Something like that. Okay, so now we do... This'll create it. Yeah, I guess then we just do this. Town hall, load from save data. All right. There you go. Hey, 715-209. How goes it? All right. Where do we put this now? Public void load from save data into level. All right. And then we just call upgrade, I think. Except for we spell it correctly. Yeah. And I don't even need to do this, do I? Can I just do this? I'm actually honestly not totally sure because I refuse to spend the mental thought capacity to do this. So we're just gonna go type this in here. Int I equals 2. I is less than or equal to 1. Let's go back to very beginning coding. Console.writeLine. I. All right. Now let's see. How big of a dum-dum am I? I'm fine. Okay. I'm doing well. I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling like it's worthwhile to work on the stuff I'm doing. I think a lot of what comes down for launch is coming up with what are your priorities. And I think the most important things right now are, of course, content for the whole game. We don't want the game ending after 2 hours with like oh, wait for the next patch or something like that. So content, I think localization, and what else? Maybe controller support. I think these are like the last big things. Achievements are probably expected. I don't think it's gigantic or anything. It should be pretty easy to do. Although I guess we have to localize those too, huh? I didn't think about that. I should probably write that down. Achievements. Create the achievement system. Yeah, because you probably have to localize these through Steam. Figure out how we'll localize these. I assume the strings are provided on Steam's backend, but we use Weblate from the Skeleseller codebase. So we need to figure out how to get those strings from Weblate into Steam. Launch coming up in a few months. Yeah, probably March is what I'm aiming for. Like originally I had a goal that by the end of tomorrow, finish this content stuff for story mode. I don't know how possible that is because we have 5 pages of stuff, and 5 pages generally means that I can't get it done in 2 days. So we're going to get through as much as we can. And some of this should go pretty quickly, but some of these are bugs that might take a little bit longer. And then, of course, we have to do some balancing. Hey, Cradlefish. All right, so that's load from save data. So if we're level 2 or higher, then we have to upgrade. Yeah, I think that's fine. And now what? We put that in here. Man, that's pretty reasonable. All right. Okay, what's next? We should probably test this. Yeah, we should probably test this. So I have 3 levels of the town hall. So we should technically test with, well, if it doesn't exist, then you can kind of consider that a 4th level. So if all we do is we build the garbage slime here and look at the perks, we have 4 of them. If I save and load, we should still have 4, and there should be no errors in the console. This is fine. Can't deselect tabs. That's not harmful, and that's not related to this anyway. Okay, now we make the town hall, and there should still be 4. And when we save and load, everything's the same. Okay, great. Now we beat the first elite, which I just have a cheat for. And we upgrade, and now we should have 5 perks here. Good. Now if I save and load, we have the upgraded town hall. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, that's not right. It upgraded it to the higher level. How did that happen? Because when we create it at the higher level anyway. Oh, so we'd always have to create this at level 1. And then upgrade it to get us to the point that it's supposed to be at. So then why would we ever call this with anything higher than 1? This one in particular is just for the sake of challenge mode. Yeah. Okay. So now, if I'm not mistaken, loading from the save file should give us the correct graphic. Glad I tested this. Load. So we'll see the S flag and not the, or no, sorry, the skull flag and not the S flag. And then this should have 5 perks. And now we beat the next elite and we upgrade this again. And now we get the final graphic and we get the final perk over here. And then we save and load, and it should be that and that. Yeah, perfect. Would challenge mode also get upgraded? So the challenge mode thing, we're going to start you with the level 3 town hall, but the town hall is pointless in bone mode. So it's just a graphic. So yeah, it'll look like it's the best graphic, but it has no purpose. Oh, that should not be there. Oh, that's a problem. Out of curiosity, what happens if you click this again? Did that just cause an error? Yeah, so the sign is still showing up. Because the sign, oh man. When you level this thing up, I guess we need to reflect the current building status from the sign. How do we do this with something like the warehouse? Huh. Okay, let's write this down. So this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. Fix bug where loading a level 3 town hall still shows the sign. Yeah, how do we do this from anything that's actually working? Warehouse, load from save data. Then we load all the signs. This is probably what's doing this. No, this doesn't seem like this is doing this. Warehouse. Ah, there it is. Reflect current building status. Okay, this is doing this. So we load in all the buildings, and then the signs have this function here that lets them hide themselves if the building is already completely built. But the town hall is done after this, and possibly for no good reason. I'm not actually sure. If we could just do this after the town hall, it would be good. This should be unloaded from save data. Has had an item disappear. Yeah, this should be unloaded from save data. Oh, I don't like this. Yeah, I don't like this. I mean, we could just say signs.townhallsign.reflect current building status, and this would be fine. But I think this is a little bit weird. And does this ever get disposed? Init show. No, it doesn't. Well, this would work for now, but like I said, I'm not super happy with this. Hey, Pheromon, you seem to be ending early. Thanks for the raid. How went the stream? How you feeling? Hey, Penguin. Attention. Early morning art stream. Art stream? What are you doing art for? That wasn't a sarcastic question or anything, by the way. I just wasn't aware that you needed to make art for your project. We are working on upgrading this town hall building. Look at this thing. Very fantastical. And when you get the upgraded town hall, you get new perks in your other buildings. So we're just using the same icon for all these right now, but they're all different perks. And they have different amounts of money that they cost. Making emotes for fellow streamer. Here's the latest one. Oh, that's really good. Wow. Well, you're much better at art than I am. Yeah, cool. How's the game going? It's going well. So yeah, that thing I mentioned, and this is what we spent most of the afternoon stream yesterday working on, was, I'll show this from kind of the beginning here. So you'll start the game, you'll get the garbage time pretty early on, and there are 4 different perks here that you can get. And it's just that number 4 you should remember. So there are only 4 icons here. You'll also get the town hall early on, and this is what lets you get auto battling and some other things. But this is a little dinky town hall right now. So eventually you'll beat an elite monster, and I'm just going to cheat that in. So we've beaten an elite monster, and now we get an upgrade sign. So I click upgrade, and smoke shows up, and we have this cool skeleton flag on it. I love it. And now we have 5 perks in here, and then eventually you'll beat another elite monster, and you'll upgrade this again, and you get the Supremo Town Hall. And then we have 6 perks over here. So that's what the upgrade of the town hall is going to do. It's going to make it so that you can get deeper and broader perks so that you can keep upgrading your town more and more. Yeah. Yeah, I like everything that's going on here. I think this is great. I think it's also just at the edge of your vision if you're playing the game a lot of times. I know my head is blocking it, but a lot of times it'll be zoomed like roughly like this and be looking around so that you can see your shops, you can see the farm and everything, and you will still occasionally see the town hall now. Whereas when you have just level 1 of it, it is a little bit unassuming, and it also just obviously doesn't take up as much space. So now ending here, you have whatever that is, probably like 50 pixels, less of an opportunity to see it. So it's like maybe right at the edge of your vision. Yeah. So I like this a lot. Okay. So I'm not super happy with this bit here. And I think we could unify this logic, but it works for now. And that's as good as we need for right now. Yeah. So let's check that in. All right. What next? That is fine. Although I haven't tested it, so I probably should. Let's go try that. We only have the getting started scenario. This should start me with a level 3 town hall. Yeah. And clicking this just goes to this thing. That's fine. Yeah. Looks good. I guess we should try building the garbage slime and make sure nothing's wrong there. Yeah. Nothing's wrong. Okay, cool. Next up is this. Let's just look at this directly in its own editor or its own buffer. Yeah, so these things, I just put these in random spots. I got to move these now. So all the public stuff should come before all the private stuff. And they're done. And then I have some to do, figure this out here. Yeah, so where do we want to put the sign is the question. So when you're building the town hall, it's right where it's going to get built. Then when you can get the next one, I put it down here. I think we should still put it on the stone platform here. So that'll work for this. Let's take a picture of that. But then what about if it's upgraded again? Yeah, we can just keep putting it right in front of this. Okay, I think that's fine. And then what is this? This is inside Town Hall. How do I want to do this? I guess we could just get the point that this is going to be at. Node 2D, new sign location. And then just drag this here. I don't know. Yeah, sure. That's fine. All right. So node 2D, new sign location. Then get that. Then use that. This should be the global position though, I think. All right. Let's go try it. It might be a little off center because I just manually dragged it, but we'll manually correct it or maybe figure out exactly where it should be. It should be aligned to tiles, so it should be divisible by 8. I guess I hit new game because I don't know if I saved it correctly. All right, so we do this. And yeah, the sign is not aligned perfectly, but I like this positioning of it. I think that's good. So we'll just move it slightly and I'll save here. So what did I set it to? I set it to 114, and 114 divided by 8 so is only 0.25. So we need to add 6, I guess. 14 times 8, 112. Wait, no, but it's got to be centered. So 116. We bump it 2 to the right. Does that look like it's correct? I didn't take a picture. No, we bump it 2 to the left. I don't know. Let's just try that. Yeah, I don't know. It worked out. How you doing? The thing about this is that we only have like 4 other pixels we can test. So if this looks fine, and it pretty much does, but it does look like there's maybe 1 pixel more to the left that it could be. So it's a question of should it align with the tile, which it currently kind of is, or should it align with the door, which it currently kind of isn't. Although, will you really notice? Yeah, it looks kind of fine. I'm going to move it 1 pixel to the left. I think it would look better. Chilling with some coffee to start the morning. How's the game going? It's going pretty well. We're making good progress. We're trying to get back to the point where we can ask playtesters for help here. And once we do, it's pretty much going to be the full game or close enough to it. So story mode up until now was all, well, it was all we had until about, I'll just say July, just to approximate. And we had about 2 hours of gameplay. And it was totally public. So anyone who tried the game was trying all of the game. And that was it. And we got a lot of feedback. I need a lot of feedback now, but I need it on the full game. And I don't want to make it totally public. So I want just certain people to test it out, which means less feedback. And it's probably going to be like 4 to 5 hours. And then afterward, you're going to go from story mode to bone mode, and that'll add another few hours. So it all depends on how much people actually want to play. Random contact guy at the bank we were working for called me 3 times a day, asking me to do stuff. Oh, man. That does not sound fun. Going to use the Steam playtest feature. I've already been using that. So yeah, we'll continue to use that. I've been giving out playtest keys, and I think we've given out like, I don't know, 80 keys so far. The funny thing about this, by the way, there's some category of people who reached out to me. They've actually DM'd me, and they've been like, I want to playtest. And then I send them the key, and then they never respond or touch the key. I don't understand this. Like, if you reached out, and it's this tiny category of people, like, why not at least say, hey, sorry, something came up, I can't do this. Some people just ignored me after that. And I could just follow up with them, but I figured if I had to follow up, they're probably not going to make a good playtester, so what's the point? Do you have a review methodology you suggest to your playtesters? Is there a way in which you want the feedback articulated? Yeah, what I generally say is the best way for me is to have a video with you clearly audible. This part is very tough for some people because they'll record a video, but they don't do any leveling, and I can't hear a word they're saying, and those videos are practically worthless for me. So I need to be able to hear them. And even if all they're going to say is the occasional comment, like once every 10 minutes, like, oh, that's fun, or I didn't realize that's how that worked. Like, I still need to be able to hear that, because that's the important stuff for me to fix. Now, the problem is going to be when it was only 2 hours of stuff, this wasn't too bad. But if it's like 5 hours, people aren't going to sit down and play for 5 hours probably. And if they do, they probably won't want a 5-hour video. And I'm probably not going to watch 5 hours of video. So I'm not sure how this is going to change in the future. For you specifically, Fairomund, you're probably going to stream it. So I'll just watch the stream. But for other people, I don't know how I'm going to get feedback anymore. I'll probably need to come up with a form or something. In fact, I should probably write this down and think about this a little bit more. I need to come up with a way to get the feedback I need. Before this, the demo was only like 2 hours, so I could watch the whole VOD in 1 hour at 2x speed. If it's going to be 5 hours, then it's quite a time commitment for me, but also people won't want to record the entire playthrough at once or in one sitting. So maybe I should ask them to record at a particular point in the game. Or maybe ask them to record any random hour of gameplay. Yeah. Hey, keep her going. I hope I wasn't in that category. I don't recall. But you've still been showing up to the stream and everything. I think there are people who just like seemingly dropped off the face of the earth. How are you enjoying the game? How are you enjoying these pop-ups about asking how are you enjoying the game? Most likely on a weekend, upload to YouTube too. What sort of commentary do you want? Anything specific? Just free-flowing stream of consciousness? Yeah, I think the stream of consciousness is best. And I think it's got to be honest. So you might be like, okay, well, I show up to Adam's stream. I like what he's doing. You might find the game not fun, and that's totally fine to share. And there's no need to sugarcoat anything. But in general, the most value I get is from people just playing the game and thinking aloud. So whether or not they find something fun isn't actually like it's not something that I necessarily require people to say. That'll usually be apparent. But sometimes people have a thought process that would be illuminating for me that tells me what they're trying to do. Like whenever you're playing any new game, sometimes the UI is like, hey, I want to do this task. Where do I do it? And you might look up here and you might look at the bottom. You might look at the upper right. You might check the escape menu or something. When you finally find it, it's like, oh, I should think, is this something I need to point players to faster, or were they looking in the wrong spot? So the buttons need to be relabeled. Actually, something kind of interesting on this front. In Bone Mode, we had something called battle perks here. And this was how you level up your characters. People were confused by that, so we just called them level up perks. And like, that's something pretty basic, but I saw enough people struggle to find the UI element that I thought, okay, let's rename it and make it more obvious. Could you use AI to summarize? Yeah, I could, but I don't think it would find things like this. Like, I don't necessarily need a summary. I need to find all of their pain points. And I guess you could try to ask AI to do that too, but people probably won't vocalize their thoughts in such a way that the AI could even find it. Also, it'd be trying to look for it in a 2-hour-long video, which might be costly. Hey, Leaper Girl. Wondering if you got a long video, maybe you could use something like Whisper AI to make a transcript and then check the timestamps where they made a remark. Yeah, I could. And like I said, I think this is all assuming that if people fully vocalize what they're thinking, then I think the AI route is better. But in general, what I see is like 5 minutes of gameplay and then a sentence or two. And the sentence or two might be something like, yeah, kill it. And nothing actually helpful for me as a reviewer of this content. And then they'll, repeat that 5 minutes of gameplay, another sentence or two or something. Never done a video review of a video game before, so this is going to be interesting. So, okay, I think there are sort of two angles here, and I want you to do what's best for you. I think your angle would be, I'm doing a game review. But from my angle, it's just, this person is playing my game. So it's not necessarily that I need a review, although it's helpful. And like I said, I think you should do what you find valuable for your viewership. And I think that this could turn into a content segment for you of like, okay, I'm doing a game review of other indie gamers. And yeah, I think that would be helpful. But yeah, just seeing someone play the game is really all I need. So don't feel like you have to do the game review aspect for me, but it probably makes sense for your audience. Then you could go to that fragment and see what they want to kill. Maybe I'm just ignorant. Oh yeah, you could. There's a lot of like idle commentary that is not helpful. And it's things like, I have to walk my dog. Like, this is not related to the game, but it's still something they say. And it's something I could go to the timestamp. Okay, this happened at 37 minutes and 12 seconds. But then I see this and it's like, oh, all right. I guess I just ignore that now. And that's generally what people will comment on. It's not usually like okay, let me break down what I thought about this game mechanic or this system. And if it were that, then I'd probably want to watch the whole video because probably they talk about interesting things throughout and I'd want to see how they formed that opinion. So, okay, where do we leave off with this? So this is Town Hall. Right, and I want to look through the whole thing. Okay, we save the town. We get some functions here. Smoke creation. I'm not super happy with how this thing worked. Like when we level up, we set this so that the sign can figure out where to create it. We track this because the sign needs to be positioned away from where the smoke's center would be. Don't say things Adam wants them to say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Most likely I have to take a break during the game, depending on how long the playthrough is. I always put on my BRB overlay. Oh, yeah. And this is the kind of stuff I'm very used to. In fact, even some people have said, like, okay, I got to go grab water. And then I'll just, like, skip ahead by a minute. Are they back? No, I'll skip ahead by another minute. And YouTube is great for this. Twitch is not so great for this. I find Twitch to struggle sometimes playing at 2x speed at higher resolutions. And the mobile experience is not great. I still have this problem. I experienced this. Just let me show everyone this because people have said this isn't a problem for me. But I've updated the Twitch app. I've done everything I need to do. So here is someone's video of Skeleseller on my phone. And then here you see this large black bar. That is chat. And there's no way to turn this off for me. And other people are like, oh, I can turn that off. I double tap, or there's a button that has a little chat symbol with a slash through it. And yet pressing that does literally nothing. So this is probably hard to tell, but I can full screen the video behind the chat bar. It looks like it's just black, but there's actually a video behind it. But I can't just remove the chat bar. And it's only on mobile, and other people don't have this problem. And I don't know what to do about that. But anyway, that's bad. And then sometimes it stutters and it's just, yeah. So in general, YouTube is great. And then Twitch on desktop is pretty good. But yeah, Twitch on mobile is not good for that stuff. And before you say it's a mobile problem, YouTube on mobile is still fine. Okay, so all of this stuff I think is looking good except for this, and this is not a constant. So game constants, we should probably just put something here like public constant town hall max level equals 3, and then plug that into here, game constants. And then anywhere else we use that 3, which I think was in town challenge mode functions. Yeah, we have that. Solutions to buy an iPhone. Hey, very good. People on Android have said that they don't have that same problem. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so cost of next upgrade. Why does the sign need to... Why does this happen? Is my question. Shop sign? Does this know how to do this? Shop data.cost? How do you know the upgrade cost? Oh, there's a build cost and there's an upgrade cost, and this is the upgrade cost. Okay, I understand. All right, so town hall sign has a hard-coded 1 there. This needs to be game constants dot... I think it's probably called town hall cost, but I don't know, and it's not auto-completing for me with the like proper autocomplete. That was AI. But I hope this works. Hey, Cakes, how's it going? Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for the raid. I think Cakes is launching in, what, 40-something days? Is that right? It's exciting times. How long is it for me? Days until, let's just say March 15th or something. March 15th is probably not my launch date. 115. Okay, yeah. So I'm like triple the amount. Have a good stream. Thanks, Cakes. And yeah, best of luck on what you're doing. I think launch is fun and exciting and also terrifying. Okay, hold on. I will show off what I'm doing here in just a sec. Let me just find this. Is this correct? 10 gold. Yeah, okay. All right, so too tired to think of ways to trick Adam. ABC. For Twitch on mobile, and I don't have that problem. Also have a Pixel. Yeah, other people have mentioned they don't have this. I should probably try uninstalling and reinstalling, but then I don't want to type my password in again. Anyway, we've been working on Skella Seller for the last year and a half, and we have 2 entire modes in the game now, and I'm just trying to like make sure the content is good, that everything's balanced. So the game is generally that you were an adventurer and you died, you became a skeleton. So now you hire adventurers to do what you wanted to do, which is adventure, and they go battle automatically. This is a very laid back game. There's not a lot of thinking in it, and they'll fight for you. And then when they win, I'll speed this up a little bit. They earn items. So we got a potion, which your little skeleton will then move to the shop, and then customers can come and buy this stuff. So that's a basic gameplay loop. It's do battles, collect items, and sell them in your shops. And as you sell this, you'll get money, which you can then use to upgrade your town. So here we have a little garbage sign that we can also sell things to. And then you can upgrade different aspects of your town. So like you'll get a farm, you can upgrade the farm. And what we've been working on lately has been upgrading the town hall. So when you beat a certain elite monster, which I'm just going to cheat right now. So we've defeated an elite, not really. And now we get this upgrade town hall sign. And clicking this will give us a better town hall. And then when we beat the next elite, we get another sign, and clicking this gives you the best town hall. And now we have more perks slotted into our other buildings here. So this was all just for showing this off, but we put in a couple of perks there. Hey, Crispy. Hey, Slope. Oh, it's good. Yeah, so this is, okay, here's where we stand now. I mentioned that we're sort of close to launch. March will probably be the launch of this game. We got a bunch of things to do until then. We have a demo on Steam, and it's 2 hours long. This sounds like a marketing gimmick what I'm about to say, but this is too generous. Like, I can't have a demo that is that many hours long. So I'm going to prune it down. So if you want to play a lot of the game right now, you can get the current demo. The current demo is the non-pruned version. So you'd be able to play through quite a lot of the game. And the total play time of the final game is probably going to be about 10 hours, which is why 2 hours is too long, because it's 20% of the game. I don't feel like you should give away that much. I think what most demos probably try to do is either aim for 10 to 15 minutes or aim for about maybe 5% of the game. 5% isn't so much that you'll be like, well, I played the game, I'm done now. But yeah, if you play through, let's say 60% of the game, you probably won't want to buy it if you're like, well, it's not going to be too much more of this. When did I start coding? If you mean this game, it was April 17th of last year. But if you mean in general, like when did I start coding my life? I started about 13 years old. So yeah, welcome in everyone. We're going to be finishing. I'm working on this commit right now to try to get this to not be terrible. We need to figure out the cost of these upgrades. I don't actually know what these should be. I should put this down here though. Also, do we use this anywhere else? Yeah, there. How old are you now? It's in this command. The ACJ command. Oh my God, I can't scroll up. Yeah, so take a look at that command and you will find out. And welcome in mind. Does it end in a cliffhanger? No, it doesn't. Like a new area unlocked or something? No. When I prune it down to be only about half an hour long, it probably will end in some kind of like, okay, hey, go get the full game for this. I started code a year ago. I'm now 29. Feels like I started way too long. You mean you took too long to start? I don't think I started late, way too late. Yeah. I don't think that's the case. Or at least, I mean, I don't know your life circumstances exactly, but I think there are a lot of people who start once they kind of have their life in order. And I think they end up doing kind of just as well as someone who started a while ago. there's something that's important for kind of any technology now, which is that it's very broad and deep. So it's not like, oh, I'll just learn this one topic, and it's not like I'll learn this, I'll learn 10 different topics just to a minor extent. It's like you can go for 2 years in topic A and then have almost nothing to apply to topic B for that. So I feel like you need to learn how to learn. And anything you would have done up until 29 or 28, I guess is when you started, anything you would have done up until 28 will probably get you to that point where you're like, okay, I now have some amount of patience, some amount of, knowing what I'm doing here. And maybe you'll have some resources as well in case you want to, let's say, hire somebody to help, or that's kind of getting into the weeds there. But yeah, you have better circumstances potentially than someone who was starting at 15. You'll also probably have a more structured approach to this stuff. So when I started, like I said, I was about 13. I did not know anything about coding. I didn't know how to find out anything about coding. So I kind of just found out by doing things. And I got a lot of bad habits that way. And I remember all my, probably like for 1 to 2 years of coding, every variable I had a single letter name. So I would just say like A equals 5 or B equals hello or something like that. And I never knew what these names didn't have any meaning. And that's such a basic thing about coding, right? You should say like age equals 5 or name equals or greeting, I guess, message. And that way you can track it through the code. So it looked like I was obfuscating my own code. These are the kinds of things I don't think you'd make the mistake if you were 28 and you were starting, because you'd see a bunch of examples online. You'd reason about why this thing is good. Hey, Fuzzlings, and hey, Sadiq. Yeah. Suppose demos have gotten much shorter these days. Most of the shareware demos I played were a couple hours, if that term gives you any idea of how old those demos were. Yeah, it does. And I think also the way you'd get those demos, though, was on physical media, which maybe lent itself to like, well, I'm going to have to pay for this because there is a physical item I'm buying. So maybe I expect to get a certain value out of it. I'm not totally sure. Oh, Crispy, thanks for the sub. Welcome in. Yeah, I admire your work and how you manage to get things done. I've been struggling with the feeling of burnout. What do you usually do? I think the first step to burnout is just a vacation. And I don't mean like a go on a holiday retreat somewhere. I just mean like take time off of work. This is the American definition of vacation here. But yeah, I think that's a good first step. And then if you feel better, then great, your problem solved. If it's not solved, I think you need to identify the causes for you. So is it the people? Is it the work? Is it the pay? Is it the commute? Is it what is causing this to happen? And then how do you address that? So if it is one of these things, it's like, okay, let's say it was a commute. Maybe you could talk to your boss about, can I work from home or something like that? But you'd have to figure out what it is that's doing this. And also it could be something outside of your work exactly. I've sometimes felt overwhelmed when it's just too much going on in life. And work is actually going fine, but it still feels overwhelming because there's just so much to do. So yeah, what I do is kind of take inventory. And now at this point, like I have baked it into this endeavor. I have a set of tenets that I look at every single week. And the number one has got a star next to it is sustainability. And not in the term of like environment sustainability, but just can I continue to do this for years? Because if not, I think I need to make some changes. So I think it's have some awareness about your own circumstances. And then, yeah, based on that, and it's hard to give you a general answer for it, but yeah, based on whatever is the cause, you need to address it. Is it demo on a separate page so we can leave reviews? It is, yes. It is on its own entire page. So if you click this learn more, you'll find the separate page and there are reviews for just the demo. Why is scrolling acting weird over here? I, J, X, and Y. Okay, this is pretty funny. This would be so hard to look through. I've been at it for quite some time myself. I'm 47, started when I was 5, so for 42 years. Yeah. And I didn't mean to give you a snarky answer. It's just a lot of people have asked for how old I am, and I happen to have the scavenger hunt puzzle for answering it. Now working as a game dev using Godot. Yeah, it's quite a journey. Still have a couple CD-ROMs for demo software. You know, I don't miss CD-ROMs at all, but I do miss floppy disks. I think there was just something about this form factor that was appealing, but CD-ROMs I just do not care about. I have no nostalgia for them. And I do have nostalgia for all the old game consoles and the cartridges and everything. especially Game Boy games with the little like notch out of the corner of them. Pretty cool. Hey, Sofameyer. Have that issue with my game on Steam where some people are playing the demo for over 3 to 4 hours. Feel like I need to cut down. Yeah. Get more of a taste and less of a meal. I think it all comes down to how much gameplay do you have. If you have 100 hours, then I think 3 hours of a demo is totally fine. I think if you have 3 hours, then 3 hours of a demo is incredibly stupid because then you're giving away your game for free. Tell us about your keyboard, please. Yeah, so I've got a video on it here, but I was just sharing this earlier. The short story is that by having only 36 keys, it's less finger travel, less hand movement, and you probably see this happening here, right? Like I can move tabs around, I can type numbers. My hands are almost not moving at all. It's just my fingers. And the way you accomplish this is with layers. So the classic example is you don't have an exclamation mark on your keyboard. You have Shift 1. This is a layer key. I have a bunch of layer keys. So to type numbers, I hold the number layer and I type. So I've got numbers, I've got letters, and then I've got arrows and home and end, and they're all kind of in the same spot. And that's part of the reason I have the keyboard cam here is because this benefit of less finger travel is very obvious when you actually see me type in real world stuff. You might think like, okay, well, when he's coding and he's typing symbols, like how is that happening here? And it's the same thing. You could do turn x plus y plus 5 and put a semicolon there. Is it custom built? Can we buy it? It is custom built. You can buy it from keyboard, like, what do you call them? Assemblers, I guess. So if you type something like Korn keyboard pre-built, you'll probably find some websites that have it. Key maker. I don't know what country you're in, so maybe these aren't even good options. But yeah, you could find some of these pre-made. Miss the old Game Boys. Think newer handheld consoles do not have the same aesthetics. The Game Boy was not ergonomic. Despite that I like the cartridge form factor, it was a rectangle. And I don't think Game Boys really got to be ergonomic until like the DS era. And even then it felt kind of cramped. Like the Game Boy Advance SP is a tiny square. And this thing sucks for ergonomics. It's just not very good. Your hands are like next to each other. And yeah, depending on your hand size, this might be too close to the edge. So you both have to hold the system, which is not very heavy, and put your thumb over to that. And it just might not be the distance you expect. No, I'm not familiar. What is, well, I can imagine, I guess, what Kit says that for, but yeah. Don't even talk about the Game Boy Micro. Oh yeah, that looked like such a dumb purchase to me when it first came out. Like, why would someone want such a tiny Game Boy? But the Advance was pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I want to change this game constants, town hall cost. I want to set this to something like this. So this will be public, static, read only, long, I guess. Although I'm not sure why this one's a long and nothing else is. It's questionable, but these aren't like billions big, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so 10. And then after this, I don't know what cost it should be. So I'm not going to balance these right now, but let's set it to 250 and 750. 250 and 500. Yeah, maybe that. Okay, and then we call this costs, not cost. And then we go fix all the cases where we had cost written down. So this would be town hall cost 0. This will be town hall cost 0. And then the upgrades are on the town hall sign. No, they're in the town hall proper. And the cost of the next upgrade is going to be this dot level -1. What is going on here? Huh. I think this is correct. Yeah, F12 broke. Is no hand movement actually good? It's fast, but maybe bad for RSI. So a lot of the hand movement you do on a regular keyboard is actually rotation at the wrist. And I do not claim to be an expert on how you should be using a keyboard, but I've heard of people who get, also I never had hand strain, so I can't comment about this for myself, but I've heard of people who this motion starts to hurt, and then moving your arms causes you to have to adjust where your shoulders are positioned too. So I think it does help some people. That isn't actually why I got this keyboard. I just happen to be interested in this keyboard because, like I said, luckily I did not have any hand pain or strain leading into this. And yeah, as a result, I can't comment on did it help me on that front. All right, so this says cannot convert from long to int. This is cost of next upgrade, and it happens to be an integer, so I guess let's just make this an integer. Yeah. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, I figured. Leave your girl. But yeah, I did not know that. Town hall costs. Oh yeah, that's pluralized. The other thing about the no hand movement is that you will probably improve your accuracy as well very slightly. Because on a regular keyboard, if you have a keyboard like this, for example, your right hand normally rests here. In order to move it to the arrow keys or over here, you can't just like Fantastic Four extend out your pinky and stretch it out to the side. You have to actually physically move your hand somehow. And then in resetting your position, you might not reset it back to what it should be on despite having homing keys. I fear it's bad for RSI. Just jump around the keyboard with whatever finger feels closest to what I want to press. Yeah, I think this is sort of like how kind of anything works when it comes to pain, which is that some people just get lucky and won't have pain despite doing kind of the same things that other people do. And some people need to do exercises for it. Some people need to work around it somehow, buy special hardware for it. You could just be in the lucky camp and that your methodology is not replicatable to other people. Hey, Dead Walking. Perfect for my ADHD. Interesting to watch. Also soothing. Nice. Glad to hear it. Haven't ever since I slid over a university 26 years ago. Landed on my left wrist. In hindsight, probably got a small fracture. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, these are the kinds of things you have to work around, I guess, just for the rest of your life. All right, so that costs 10 gold. That's correct. Now this should cost 250, I think we said. It says 10 right now, though. So I guess what we need to do is change this to just level. How's that correct, though? Because we're level 1, so we want to use level 1 cost. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so save and reload. All right. And now the cost should be 250. Yep, good. And I don't have that much money, so we're going to right click to cheat. Now we have 250, and on the next one should be 500. Perfect. Okay, like I said, I don't know if that's balanced, but we're not focusing on the balance right now. So this is looking good. This is looking good. Perks constants we're ignoring for right now intentionally, but I'm going to need to do something about that pretty soon. And now I think all of this should be fine. Yeah. All right, town hall level has a Git building center. That's totally fine. Actually, I take that back. I would like this to have a % sign. And then we need to go find building here. We just make this access as unique. That should fix the derived scenes. Yeah, it did. And it shouldn't have broken anything else. Yep, nice. When I sit like a shrimp for 2 hours, my back hurts. I guess I'm not in the lucky group. Yeah, I think posture is so important, and yet I think it's hard to settle into good posture by default. All right, all these strings need to be translated. We're not going to focus on that for right now. The rest of this, I think, is good. Yeah. All right, so instance map, this should not be checked in at all. This is debug code. And then what about over here? All right, let's look at this in context. Perks panel tab, bottom of this. On upgrade of the town hall, this is if we have perk data, then go through it and use it. I'd rather say if we don't have this, then just return. And that way we don't need curly braces around this. Yeah. Okay. And then the tip over here tells you the amount that this costs. When I play this game from scratch in months right before the launch, I need to make sure I'm reading everything because there are going to be little things that might slip past. This is like when you'd write an essay in school and you'd reread it and be like, yeah, there are no typos. and then it's just you know what you were trying to say, so you can't really see the typos. Did I do the whole art? I did none of the art. I am very, very bad at art. There's a credits page here, and it was Quickie Joe who did most of the art, and then there were some asset packs used. And then this too, yeah. I should probably write myself here. I'm not even in my own credits. Oh, man. I did do the music for the game, though. And I've been working on a new track, which I pretty much already have the track made. I just can't put it into Fruity Loop Studio correctly because the synth that I'm using has a bug, and they haven't fixed it in 3 months. And I want them to fix it. Hey, Kevin. Oh, you know what? It just started an ad break, so I'll take a break myself right now. Yeah, we're close to being able to check this in anyway. All right, so is it jump time? It's jump time. All right, for anyone new who's not stuck in an ad, you can type join to play. No need for an exclamation mark. And then J and a number to jump. I will be back in a little bit. Okay, hello again. Hey, caller. Close the game. I'm going to rotate this the tiniest bit. Okay. All right, so where do we leave off here? Just adding the new perks that we need. What do I want to do? I don't know what I want to do. Yeah, let's just come back to these later. And I'll just right here, this is kind of a mess of types. This is the fastest way to code what I want. Sorry, future us. All right. So those are made up constants. We'll need to balance those. Hey, Seshamara. Prepare for next time. Yep. Okay, so allow for upgrading the town hall. The perks that you can get when you upgrade haven't been finalized, and the cost to upgrade weren't balanced yet. But all of the hard work is done. Cool. All right, where does that put us? Cleanup. Show locked icons. I don't think I'm going to end up doing this. Add perks to the right places. These are the good choices. Yeah, so this is all the content we potentially wanted to add. It's making my future self miserable. In this particular case, I don't think we're ever going to care about this code. And it's just a set of types that are kind of annoying here. It's not actually the data that's bad. We need this data somewhere. It's just represented kind of stupidly. But even then, it's not that hard to read. On level 2, the recycler gets these perks and the enchanter gets these perks. On level 3, the recycler gets these perks. And that's it. So we'll probably have like 15 perks here. And I want to figure out what these should be. I think we should give the... Can we give the town hall? Town perks, yeah. We can give this cloning. And how many levels are there? Player cloning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 levels. All right, I think this should be relatively expensive. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000. Maybe it should ramp up even faster than that. I don't know. We're just making up numbers for right now. All right, employee discount. Let's go put that one in. How many levels does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 levels. And this lets you get through loot a little bit faster. I don't know. Again, I'm just going to make up some numbers here. Recycler always hungry. This one's not actually super useful. Yeah, I don't think we should even put this one in the game. I think I'm going to get rid of this. Should I? I don't know. So the way this one works is the garbage slime has a minimum hunger amount, and you can set it to 30%. If you're feeding it tons and tons of stuff, you're guaranteed to at least get 30% of the value of that stuff. But it's just not that important. I don't know. Let's put it in. How good are you with GDScript? I've only used it somewhat briefly, maybe for like a total of 2 months. So I wouldn't say I'm very good. I'm not actually sure the level of depth you need, though, to consider yourself good at it. That's not me putting down GDScript, by the way. That's just me saying it's like if you asked, hey, how good are you at, you know, adding 2 numbers together? I'd be like, probably pretty good. Like I know how to do it. Hey, Trackley. Yeah, okay, so let's leave this perk in. And there are only 2 levels of it. I don't think this one has to be very expensive. Maybe like 1,000, 2,000. I don't know. I'm just kind of setting everything to expensive by default. These are very interesting. And I wonder when you should get these. Add these 2 numbers. Watch this. Done. There's your answer. Hang on 1 second. I'm waiting for a pickup to happen. And I hear a truck outside, but it is not the pickup I'm expecting. Yeah, I disliked GDScript when I started using it like 5 years ago. I think it's gotten a lot better, but I haven't given it an honest shot in the last like year and a half. Last time I used it was a year and a half ago for the prototype of this game. All right, when should you unlock these things? What do they do? Casting this spell causes all mature crops to be harvested. Any crops harvested this way grant more wisdom sludge. Okay, sure. Bountiful harvest. While this is active, crops grow faster. Sure. Impulse buying. Impulse buying actually seems really powerful. Maybe this you get later. And instant loot you can get earlier on. Yeah, so impulse buying we'll put down here, which we can't do that way. We need to copy paste the whole thing. And then delete this. And then put this here. Okay, so we just want impulse buying there. And this should probably cost a lot. At least 21. Hey, Pretzel. You guys are closer than you think. Didn't some smart mathematician say it was like 12 or something? These are the kinds of things that I feel like there are limits that don't make a lot of sense when you learn about them. And yeah. Yeah. It's negative 0.08. What's the 3 in parentheses? You are correct. No one can deny that. All right, farm crop value. I actually like this idea and not having any negative for this. Farm crops are worth... Oh, no, you can't do this. Wait, that's not possible. This is generated, so it won't work. Or we generate it with the same amount every time, but I don't think we have the ability to do that. Free guild supplies. I don't think this is interesting. It does mean your warehouse would get some use out of it, which is maybe interesting. But you don't get that many supplies, right? If you have... Oh, wait, no. Also, this is generated. Auto fishing. Auto fishing is also generated. And I think marine mana is too. I don't think any of these things are going to work. Although I would like to have that. Garbage slime eats from warehouse. That one is very powerful. So let's put that one in here. New eats from warehouse. There it is. All right, this one should probably cost like 5,000. And then these two, how do these work? Higher level crop growth speed and increased appetite. I don't even think these are that useful in the game. Huh. Maybe we don't put them in. So this is all we would have then? How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you sum all that up, it makes 12. Well, it's something. This probably shouldn't be some weird number here. Oh, I added this twice, so we really don't have that many. Oh, that's kind of a shame. Yeah, that's kind of a shame. Repeating threes. Oh, I see. Why didn't you just type it out? Like, this is what you should have written, right? And then you just never stop and we'll never get the answer. Weird off-topic question. My Lenovo laptop says it wants to do a BIOS update. Should I do that? Will it overwrite existing data somehow? I think it should be fine. Yeah. Okay, so we only have, what, 8 now? 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2, yeah. Well, I guess we did this. And we did this, and we did this, and we did that. So now let's go test this. Player cloning, employee discount. Maybe we give higher levels of more customers. New. All right, how do we test this out? So we need a bunch of money. Let's give ourselves a bunch of money. So we have the enchanter, the garbage slime, and the town hall, and that's it. Okie dokie. So 6 there, 4 there. We build the town hall, and we have what? 7, 2, 9? Yeah. So 6, 4, 9. And now we upgrade this. And now this got 3 more. Instant harvest, bountiful harvest, and instant loot. And I'd like to try this out, actually. Let's click instant loot, and now let's click this. And we get 5 things out of here. Wait, why not 5? Oh, because you only get the crop if you have the chef slime. Nice. All right, and then this has only 4 things, and this has the same number that we had originally. But now we upgrade this again, and now they're all at their maximums. Impulse buying. This got the new things over here, and this got cloning and employee discount. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so add all perks from upgraded town hall. The first upgrade isn't going to feel all that impactful while you can get our enchanter perks. You might build the town hall and not even realize it did anything. Maybe for that reason, we should move this always hungry up to the top. It's just not a very impactful perk, though. Maybe I need to make generated perks into regular perks so that they can show up there. I wonder what would happen if we tried adding that anyway. I'm actually kind of curious. Like, we have marine mana in the game. How would this work? Mana bonus equals 0? Maybe that's what would happen? Because this doesn't have any generation logic. Yeah, we would need to call generate on this. Otherwise, we won't even have a tooltip. But we don't show this in any way that will help. Okay, I'm curious. I don't think this makes any sense. But I want to try this out. So let's check this in before I mess everything up. Okay. So I expect this to break the game. I'm just not sure how it's going to break the game. So let's save this and let's type marine mana. And then run it and see what happens. Yeah, I agree with what Xyletics said there. Yeah. All right, so where'd I put that? In the enchanter? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and it says 0. Oh, man. All right, how would we do this? So when we add a skill button, we need to generate this somehow. Perks panel tab. Add skill button. Where do we make the ability? A Super Mew kitty cat. Hello, I used to dev games I made for kids with disability, a platformer and a football game in Flash HTML5. I learned code by making maps in Warcraft 3. Well, hello, welcome in. Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of talked about this on stream before, but StarCraft and Warcraft both did some pretty nice things in terms of their map editors. Because it might have sounded like they were map editors, but really they were like game creator engines. They were pretty much just game engines. And that allowed a lot of people to experiment without needing to make an entire game. And on the plus side, it was using characters you knew and loved. Like Marine and Zergling. I play Dota to this day, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I wonder how popular, like StarCraft 2, I don't know how popular StarCraft 2 is to begin with, but I wonder how popular the custom maps are in StarCraft 2. Because StarCraft 2 came about, I'm pretty sure, before Fortnite and Roblox became popular. I don't know if Fortnite existed at the time. I don't think so. StarCraft 2 was pretty long ago now. But now these are like platforms for people to make things in. It's like the engine on Turbo. So as I compile a new database and edit stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of the MMORPG tooling needs to be usable by people who are not super technical a lot of the time. Like making a quest shouldn't involve you having to go in and write code exactly, maybe like a script for something. Yeah. All right, so I still need to figure out where this thing gets rendered. Maybe we just look at marine mana. Like generate's never to be called. Generate is what fills this thing with data. But even if we call this in a constructor, which we don't have. I wonder, can I just put a breakpoint there and then reload the game? Oh, is this done every single time we do this? Constructability. Where is this called? Abilities component player ability tree. Here it is. Get ability or default. Ah, I see now. Okay, so how would we do this then? I wonder if I should just make a new ability. And I don't know. I gotta think about this some more. Still has 2 popular custom maps, Marine Arena and an Auto Battler. Yeah. Hey, John Doe. I'm about to buy my first corn kit. Do you still recommend it? Any special opinions after using it for so long? So I would like working LEDs on my corn. They're broken due to my own fault. And I think wireless is nice. And I think an encoder is nice. And I just mean a volume knob, basically. So those are the things that I would like to have. None of them are necessary because I don't have any of them really. The LEDs work on the left half of my keyboard. And I really, really like that. So when I press the key, it lights up. And when I hold layers, it'll change colors. And that's pretty nice. But yeah, they're not working on the right half of my keyboard. The encoder, I think, is just the most natural way to change volume on something. Like nothing tops it. I think that's the best thing in my opinion. You turn it to the right, volume goes up, you press it in, you mute the thing you're playing, or pause and play if you want, whatever you prefer. And wireless, I mean, this goes without saying, if you like not having wires on your desk, okay, yeah, go for wireless. It's all a preference. I don't like it only because I don't game on the Corn. Or I don't like wired keyboards because I game on a different keyboard, so I have to like move this further down my desk and then move the other keyboard on, and just wires are going everywhere. But yeah, other than that, I still think it's a great keyboard. I still recommend it. Doesn't the keyboard hurt your wrist? No. Yeah. Okay, so we call get ability or default. What we could do here is we could set a default to just higher than whatever it currently is. I'm not actually certain why this was ever set to 0 to begin with. Like if we just set this to 50, for example, then this will work. Never use it because my headphones have one as well. Yeah. I think it all depends on what's the most convenient. Also, if I had a volume knob, I don't know where I would put it on my desk that would make the most sense. Like I do just use my keyboard to change the volume. But still nothing quite like an encoder. All right, so now it's going to keep constructing this thing, and it should have, I'm going to save over here. Yeah, so now it says catching a glowy fish gives 50 mana to the enchanter. Does this even work? Let's try it. Where's the fishing pond? Gotcha. Now we need glowy fish. Now we fill the pond up and we go try this out. So we got to cast a spell first, or a couple spells. There we go. Okay, so we're at like 200 something mana. Now we're going to try catching fish. Okay. So we are at 236, 239. Yeah, it's going up. And we should see the mana being gained over here. Yep, there it is. Okay, so this does work. We could just change what the default is. Hey, oogly wooglies. You have multiple knobs on this keyboard? Oh, interesting. I don't know what I would use 2 for. Yeah. But having 1 is really nice. Looks like those Kairosoft games. Yeah, it is kind of similar to a Kairosoft game, I think. All right, so the question is, was there a reason for me doing this? Because if there was a reason and I don't remember it, then this is probably a bad idea. But if there was no reason, then this is the best idea. Because I'm guessing I did everything this way, right? Like free guild supplies probably has a empty space factor of 1. Yeah, these were all intended to be whatever the identities were for these. What other examples do we have? I guess we just search for this. We'll find them all. Auto fishing. Interesting. It's had interval set to 1. Isn't that like crazy powerful? Yes. Okay, well, anyway, we have 2 methods here, or at least I think 2 methods. So the problem is that we have a concept of generated abilities that need to be generated for bone mode based on how many perks you've chosen so far. The more you've chosen, the more powerful the resulting perk. But for story mode, we don't have the concept of generating perks. So option 1, we use the default parameter to populate a value that makes sense for story mode. And option 2 is we make a new ability that has hard-coded values for story mode. And option 3, I guess, is we call generate with some set number for story mode to make sense. Hey, Scholar. No one has told me that yet. Knob 1 is for the settings, so I can swap between... Oh, I see. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Inspector. All right. So I think this is the easiest thing. This prevents us from having multiple levels, which I don't even know if that's important. Like what we could do is we could have auto fishing and say something like catch a fish automatically every 30 seconds. And then that's level 1. And then for level 2, we say it's every 25 seconds, and level 3 and so on and so forth, right? However many levels you want here. We could only do this if we allow for multiple level data things to be in there, in which case we need to go with option 2. Let me see what that would be to code, though. Because whatever uses this, get mana bonus, would need to know to access 2 different abilities. That sounds like a bad idea. It's only ever used from here, though. I'd buy it if you don't charge like $999 gazillion on Steam. So the plan is for it to be $15 in US. So yeah, not going to be super expensive. Brain's going crazy today. Some coworkers got let go. Should have been me, man, is all I feel right now. I don't think you should feel that way. I think this is almost like an imposter syndrome playing out. And maybe some amount of like shell shock from just seeing that, hey, they are actually laying people off. Or maybe firing them. I mean, I guess that also depends. If you don't know why they were let go, it could actually be for cause. But yeah, I think these things take time to process. Hopefully in a couple weeks, you don't feel like it still should have been you. Man, that's a level of guilt I don't think is probably helpful. What does for X in 3.3 print X do, you think? In what language? I gotta say, so it looks like either Python or maybe GDScript. Yeah, I haven't used GDScript in a very long time. So what I'd expect is probably that it would round down and then treat the number as a range and then probably print like 0, 1, 2, 3, something like that, or maybe just a 2. But yeah, I don't know. These are the kinds of things, by the way, that I think are like, I don't say this in a mean way, but wholly worthless questions. Like, there's no need to know what this does. If this happens to you, you test it and then remove the ambiguity. Or well, I guess you pretty much just remove the ambiguity. Like, things should always be clear for the coder. And the only reason I could see this maybe happening is if you had some number, you're saying like for X and Y do something, and then Y happens to be equal to 3.3. But this is why static typing is important. So that you just say that Y is an integer, and now that can't happen anymore. Because there were all these like JavaScript what ifs that people would ask about. And actually back then I knew all the quirks and I could tell you what things would do and how it got interpreted. But I don't think that knowledge ever really helped me that much. I think there were only the important things of like, what is null? What is undefined? Why would you use equals, double equals, or triple equals? Like, these were things worth knowing, and not what does this toString get called on and what happens when you add two disparate types or something. It's like, yeah, you would write tests and you would avoid that code. Oh yeah, thank you, Super Mew Kitty Cat. Need to go grind in CS and Dota. Okay. The game, by the way, is not for sale yet. I haven't launched yet. GDScript is bad about encouraging static typing. The documentation doesn't even show types in most examples. Yeah. Yeah, but I still think some of this is on the coder. I mean, this is part of the reason why I chose C# over GDScript in the first place. There were enough rough edges around GDScript back then that I thought this is not a good language for me to use. And that's not to say you can't make games in it. You could make the worst language in the world and still make anything in it, probably. It all just depends on how much are you willing to deal with that language. It's syntactic sugar for a certain range. I still think it's probably poor coding to do that. It's like if you said in X equals 5 in C++, and then you said like this. This is valid code, and in some years of coding, you might have actually written this and meant it, and it would have been fine. This is, like, I think, incredibly bad code to write nowadays. This is not clear to most developers what this does, and it's not clear if it is. If it's clear what it does, it's not clear why you would have done this over just a proper multiplication. There's an option in Godot to make it so you have to add types or it will not run the project. Yeah. Yeah, I think something like that's pretty good. Can you add mana as a float value? We could, yeah. In this particular case, there's no reason to, because this is for the sake of a perk that says like you get plus X mana when something happens. And the numbers are not so low that we need floating points. Like if we only had the option of 1 or 2, you might be like, okay, let's try to get 1.5 in there. But we're talking about numbers that are like probably 30 or 60 or something like that, where it's like, all right, well, if you want a number in between, you just pick 45. You don't really need floating point values. Hey, Kazoos. That's what I've liked about C#, forcing you to be explicit, but I feel like they've been eroding that over the years with new syntactic sugar everywhere. I think that some syntactic sugar, like using var, is at least the same from the compiler point of view, and it's just different from the developer point of view. So this is something that I feel like they made for the developer experience, which can potentially hurt code reviews if you don't have access to a development environment where you can see what this collapses to. And then other syntactic sugar I've seen in C# doesn't necessarily seem to obscure very much. Like if you make a list of strings, let's say, and you can now just use array syntax, for example. This is now valid. Like, I think this is fine. This is better than having to type, what, new list string, something like this, I think you'd have to do. Yeah. Like something that recharges over time, use float. So, I mean, that would not necessarily be why you'd use a floating point thing for this. It just depends on if you need the granularity that a floating point would provide. In fact, you can kind of look at it like most floating point numbers that you might have used. You could just use longs and multiply everything by like 10,000 and then get rid of all the decimal points you might have needed. I'm not honestly proposing this, but I'm saying in a game where you don't have very granular values, like you only get down to, let's say, 2 significant figures to the right of the decimal place. Oh yeah, Seshamara, but I'm saying I don't think this is the kind of trivia of even sort of showing that someone knows GDScript. Like this is a feature that I doubt exists in probably many code bases. Also, like I said, I've used GDScript for maybe 2 months. I haven't encountered that in particular. But I think even by sort of like, I don't know. To me, it's not a gauge of do you know and use a language. But I get how it could be seen that way. I realize what I'm saying probably sounds very defensive. I have no skin in the game as far as GDScript knowledge goes. Like, I don't claim to be an expert or anything. I guess what it reminds me of a lot is these, like, it's like a gotcha question. And not in the sense of, hey, I made this person look bad by asking it, but more in the sense of this will never matter in practice. And I think people treat these gotcha questions as reasons to not use a language. And I think there are gotchas for programming languages that actually do matter. So for example, if you're using C and you allocate memory, you need to free that memory. And that's not a gotcha on its own, but there are certain patterns of how you write functions that now need to be very clear. Like if you have an early return, you might not free memory that you allocate. And now you're leaving it to the caller, but maybe the caller doesn't have a pointer to that memory. So things like that are like gotchas that might matter. Okay, so going back to this. So if we want to use generated abilities, I think I'd maybe want to go with this. Wait, what is this? This is not the same option 2 that I had. I'm just looking at where option 2 was. Where is the tab now? Oh, no, not that one. Huh, I thought I wrote this out. Maybe I closed it, or maybe I did just close it there. Okay. So maybe I'll put this in later, and I'll just write this down for now. So when using it, if we want to add generated perks to the regular skill trees, we would need to populate them with a default value in the constructor, since generate is never called. Alternatively, we could detect that it's a generated ability and then call generate. We could even have levels that show up for it for story mode specifically if we want there to be upgrades. I wonder if we can do both. Yeah. Let me think about this. This is a generated ability which inherits from... F12 is broken. Generated ability. Inherits from player ability. And it's locked at max level of 1. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is not a good idea then. I don't think. A game where you keep bonuses after story mode or StarCraft 2, and there are billions. You get like perks after story missions. Yeah, I think there's... Wait, hold on. You get bonuses after story mode. StarCraft 2 has bonuses during story mode, which is their campaign, I guess. But then you don't get to keep those bonuses afterward. Like, you don't go into a multiplayer game and keep those. Unless you're talking about cosmetics, which I don't think they add those. But the way that story mode works in Skeleseller is it's kind of meant to just be a one-time playthrough, and then you unlock a new mode after that called Bone Mode, and this is supposed to be a little bit more replayable. Hey, Bad Wolf. All right, so I think using generated abilities would be a bad idea. I think the best thing to do would be to just make a story mode specific perk with dedicated levels. The only issue is that we could make a different kind of ability that like could be generated. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. Only issue is that we would need to change where we access the value from that ability. E.g. marine mana is used by the chef slime. But nowhere else? No, nowhere else. Get mana bonus is used by the chef slime. We need to access the generated marine mana in bone mode and the regular marine mana. Or like, yeah, regular marine mana in story mode. Or just check for them both. It is static. Oh, now I know. Okay, now I understand why this is done. All right, I gotta write this down. The reason why we populate generated abilities with... In fact, I should probably write this down in generated ability. They typically have default constructors with a 0 value in them, so that... Well, we could have just changed how this worked, right? I didn't need to do things this way. Like here, what we're doing... Get mana bonus. We check to see if this thing is less than or equal to 0 and then just do nothing. Oops. We could... Oh, take care, Slopeside. And thank you. Thanks for dropping in. We could have just checked, do you have this thing? And if you don't have this thing, then don't try to add mana. And that way the default here could have been 50. Because what this is doing is it's making it so we don't actually need the perk for this to work. Yeah. So let's write this down here. Typically have default constructors with a 0 value in them so that this... Does that work? Yeah, so that this can be called rather than checking whether you have the ability beforehand. This is not important logic for this, I guess. Can now be types except for what exception in case. So back when I was using GDScript, I don't remember if you could type arrays. So I'm not sure I even know what the... I assume they allow for whatever variants that the Godot has. But like I said, I used GDScript for about 2 months. Once was back in 2020. I don't think array typing was there. And then once was in 2024, just before this. Array typing probably was there for this, although dictionary typing wasn't. But I only needed it for whatever basic types like integers and stuff. I wouldn't say that var is syntactic sugar in C#. You can't do some things without it. You couldn't use anonymous types that are essential in something like EF core or anything linked like. Really? I didn't know that. Huh. I thought it was just truly sugar for typing out types. Yeah. Variadic arguments. Oh, as parameters, you mean? So if you have a function, I don't even remember how you define functions, like function foo. If you have a list of things in here, you can't say these are going to be integers, I guess. All right. The reason we populate generated abilities with a 0 value is because of this. And then what did I want to write here? I think we could just put this in. Yeah, I think that logic would just be in Marine mana dot get mana bonus. Well, thankfully, I don't want to think about this too much right now, but I do probably want to add this in at some point. Which are the perks that might have been nice to do that for? Free guild supplies, farm crop value, auto fishing, marine mana. Yeah, those 4. Those would be pretty nice. If we do this work, I'd like to add these perks. To story mode. Okay. So we're going to gut what I just did. Yeah. Well, it was worth trying. And now I understand what we would do, which I probably want to do. And then I'll check this in. Add clarifying comment. All right. So we're done with all of this stuff now? Yeah. Allow for upgrading the town hall. Finally. Mark that done. What time is it? My goodness. This has taken a very long time to do. And I expected it to be, I guess, harder than it ended up being. But it took a lot longer than I thought. 85 filter. And they know all of this. CAs. I read the docs 2 weeks ago. Ask me again next year. I'll remember none of these quirks. Yeah, and like I said, I think in practicality here, if you ever encountered that, you'd probably just file or like the lack of typed arrays for variadic arguments, you'd probably file an issue on the Godot GitHub. And you'd be like, I want this feature. And then you'd find another way to work around it, I guess. Okay, so we need more perks in the, what? So we coded and need to bring them in from bone mode. I have higher levels of some of the farming perks. Okay, these are not meant to be here. These are all like balance changes. Balance changes. This. I have higher levels of some of the farming perks. Maybe there's one saying seeds cost more. Maybe a higher level of max fish. If we're going to put a higher level of max fish in the game, I just make it cost a lot more, right? I'm not going to worry about this yet. As an anonymous type, you can't just say, oh, I see. Is this an anonymous object? Anonymous object type? Yeah. When to use anonymous types. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I realized this. Well, in this particular case, I guess we could have used this as just a tuple. Although they're going to use var everywhere anyway, right? Yeah, they would do this even for making strings. I just want to see if there was some note on this here. Doesn't look specifically like there is, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's good to know. Because I guess if you can't have a var-free code base, why avoid it even for simple declarations? And my reasoning isn't, it's not super compelling. The whole like, well, if you're looking at something on GitHub, it makes it a little easier to tell what something is. And I guess it is true, but how often do we run into that case? It's not very common. An electric storm? All right, yeah, take care, kitty cat. Thanks for dropping by. All right, so what is next? Nerf Zombie Legion. Yes, I think it is about time we do this. There should only be a chance to summon a new zombie. All right, Zombie Legion. What does it say right now? Whenever an enemy dies, summon a zombie. And how does this work? Gives you a buff. And, okay, this should be dead simple to fix. So here's what I'm thinking. Zombie Legion right now is 1 level, and it is a 100% chance at that level. I think the proposal is that we should make it maybe 2 levels, and we should make it like 33% and 66%. Or maybe 40 and 80. I'm not sure which of these I prefer, but I don't think it should get to 100% even when it's maxed out. Yeah, I think let's be generous. Let's start with this one at least. Take care, Boolean. Thoughts on the credence of time spent coding is 10 times longer than writing it in the var argument? Time spent reading code. Oh my bad. I misread that. Time spent reading Sorrow's messages. Time spent reading code is 10x longer than writing it in the var argument. I think it depends. Like if you do have something like var name equals Adam, I don't think this adds to cognitive load. Yes, there is a tiny amount of, you have to recognize that this is referring to a string now. So that's not bad. I think where it's a little bit more difficult is when you have a questionable variable name like type, and you call a function, and that function is not in this file. So you have like some library. I think this is not clear to someone coding. You'd have to like hover over this and see what is this thing. Or maybe you have to look below and see how it's used, and you see like type dot, something like get property. And you're like, well, okay, this is probably a string, right? But I'm not even sure what that is, but I don't know what type is to begin with. And is this an interface or a class or a literal, or not a literal, primitive? Remind me what it does again. I stopped reading those descriptions a while back. Of Zombie Legion. Zombie Legion is the one that says when an enemy dies, it summons a zombie for the Witch Doctor. And I think that's too powerful. In fact, I don't just think it's too powerful. Every battle I've done seems to show that it's too powerful. So I want to tone it down, and I think just making it 2 levels is fine. I think we'll do this when I get back. I want to take a quick break. But yeah, I think we make this have 40% chance and then 80% chance. And also make the note into a properly formatted note. And then this is the real puzzle here. Should Vampiric Bite not exist the way it exists? I don't think we're going to do this, though. I think we just X this off. Yeah. Because I don't think this is really a problem. Feel like that swings the median outcome a ton. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah. It's just right now, I think it's like stupidly powerful. Feels like less RNG is 100% zombie. Zombie gets buffed or healed to full on enemy death. I like the flavor of it, summoning new zombies, which I guess your thing would have too. I just don't want it to be all the time. I guess the other thing we could do is maybe summon it with less life. Yeah, it could be like summon a zombie when an enemy dies. This zombie has less life than a like properly summoned one. We make this text make sense. But yeah, at level 1 we say it's got 30% health, and at level 2 we say it's got 60% health. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to test this out. Would this be a problem though? They could get healed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll think about it some more. Or maybe we change the life that they get summoned with based on the level of the ability. Hey, Cheese Graham. Does it feel more Legion-y compared to 40% chance of a zombie? Yeah, the battle size, so it's technically, you can have upwards of a 9v9 fight. You can only have 4 adventurers at max most of the time. So if the Witch Doctor is one of them, then you can only have 5 zombies on the field. And if you need an enemy to die, there could be upwards of 9 enemies per phase. And there could be multiple phases, so it could actually be 9 and then like you fight another up to 9 and then fight another up to 9. But that doesn't often happen in the game. So yeah, I think I'll think about this after the break. I'll mess around with this a bit. Okay. All right. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Close the game. So Kodak said another option is to give it a cooldown. I think let's try the idea of giving it less life. Yeah. Do you use singletons? And if yes, how many do you have? I'm in the middle of making a game myself, but I feel like it's becoming a singleton nightmare and I'm worried it's a bad practice. Reward manager, game manager, UI manager. Is it natural for something like game dev to have this many singletons? I think game dev tend to have more singletons than most, but we tried to avoid them as much as possible. So we have like 1 to 2, I think. And yeah, otherwise we have like a town object, which unfortunately became kind of like a mega object, a mega class that we have. And we pass that to practically everything in the game. And the thinking, at least, being that if we want to mock this town mega class, we could mock it more easily. And if we want to extract individual dependencies from it, we could. Not me having sent a VR, having it with a new one. Yeah, Kevin just worked on something that will let us remap controls in the game. And I haven't actually looked at this PR yet. But I guess there's a singleton in here somewhere. Keybind manager. Void init default mappings. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think if like part of what I think about with just general software engineering practices in game dev is that most games probably won't be successful. And then even if they are, how many need to be supported with updates for years to come? And those two things combine to probably just get things to work and worry about anything else later. Now, you could position yourself poorly if your game ends up being successful and now you don't have the development velocity to be able to make changes because of some poor coding practice. But I don't know how often that happens. Like, if I think of games at like Terraria and Stardew Valley, these got very critical acclaim and they've been supported for years and years and years with new updates. So I have to imagine that their code bases are pretty good, although I don't know anything about the code bases personally. But yeah, I have to imagine that they're pretty good. And then I look at a game like, I don't know, Starbound maybe. Starbound is still pretty well received, but I don't think they've been getting updates or anything. I wonder, actually, you can usually find out just by clicking negative reviews. Yeah, abandoned. I was going to say, it's always one of the top comments if the developer stopped working on the game. And it doesn't necessarily, I don't know when it was abandoned. And either way, this was like nearly 10 years ago now. Yeah, I agree, Mind. So I think there are certain things you should try to strive for in general. And what I think it comes down to is your code readable? Can you maintain it later? And are you making tech debt decisions mindfully? And I think this is the important one. Like sometimes you do something worse to save time now and you recognize that it's worse. And sometimes that never ends up biting you. You just release your game. You never need to touch that code again. Yep, it's coded kind of poorly, but who cares? And as an example of this, we have... Why can't I open this file? There we go. We have this. This looks ugly, but it does what we need. And like, who cares? It could be a little bit cleaner. It's just some data manifestation. It's like, yeah, maybe we'll need to touch this again someday or make it cleaner or, you know, pass this around to 7 different files and then we could refactor it. So it's like, I mindfully just cut a corner here. More utility class, not quite a singleton. Yeah. Yeah, I think the difficulty with singletons a lot of the time, and I guess it depends on how you manage your singletons, is it can make testing harder and it can make tracking context as a developer harder. Like anything can access some singleton. And what is your state at the point that you're setting this up? How do you like decouple that something from a singleton if you need to in the future? When you're testing, how do you make sure that you're passing, I don't know, the right singleton to the right thing? What if you need to set up a new one? But a lot of games probably just don't even have tests. All right, so what are we going to try out here? We're going to try for the Zombie Legion buff that the summoned zombie has less life. And I think we have an easy way to do this, but I don't remember where we've done this. Reviving. Heart of the Forest buff. Yeah, this probably does it. Revive battler. Battlers to revive. We go through this. And we need to set their life somewhere. Where do we do that? % life. Oh, right. That was easy. All right, so now we just put this here and we say active ability, summon zombie, use. Oh, this won't actually make I see. This won't change the life value. We need U's to be able to take in the amount of life they should have. All right, so let's just pass this in. Float percent life. And set this to 1 by default. And then somewhere down here, zombie HC dot percent life equals percent life. So this heals of full just shouldn't be there. Life equals max life. Yeah, just delete that. And now, oh, you can't do this. Oh, man. All right, we got to copy all this out of here and delete this. And call summon zombie entity battle 1F. Yeah, we don't even need the 1F. And then we make a public void summon zombie. And we take in the percent life. And then we delete all of this. Okay. Summon zombie. Member names cannot be the same as their enclosing type. Oh, okay, fine. Let's call this summon then. Yeah. And then from over here, we will call summon, and we will pass in the percent life that we want to use as 0.3 just to test it. Now, this can't just be an active ability. This needs to actually be summon zombie. And that's it. Okay, let's go try it. So what this is going to do is every time an enemy dies, we'll still summon a zombie, but that zombie will be summoned with only 30% of its health. Zombies have what is called the zombie curse, which makes them lose, I think, 17% of their life every second, or every so often at least. So that means that after 2 of these ticks, it'll just be dead no matter what anyway. So we're going to, I guess, make a new game and go fight with the witch doctor. So how would I get this to be sort of balanced when I do this? I guess let's level them up a little bit. So we need the farm, and then we need to level them up. So they're level 4, and then they need to be at least level 6 or they can't even get Zombie Legion. All right, so there's Zombie Legion. They have it now. And now I put them into a battle against something with multiple enemies. Hang on one second. Again, expecting a pickup for something, and the pickup has not happened yet, and it is 10:40. Oh, well, we can just unlock all the locations and then go fight here, I suppose. So throw you, and we need a couple other adventurers. Let's put the mage in and the cleric. All right, mage, cleric, go, 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 go. So when an enemy dies, summon a zombie with not very much life. Enemy has not died yet. There, and there's the new zombie, and they died very quickly. Okay, maybe 40% life. Yeah, so they don't die just immediately. Although it is actually not too bad the way it is. They should at least survive for like 2 seconds. Also, if they summon enough zombies, they'll prevent a new one from being summoned fresh. Maybe in that case that we couldn't summon a zombie, we leave it as a low cooldown. Is that already happening by any chance? No, we don't do that. Are the numbers from the Terraria font? No, this is a custom-made font for this game. Quickie Joe made it. Okay, so that'll be 40%. So I guess let's save this. Save. Huh. 40%. I mean, maybe just for the sake of ease, we say that it's at half-life. So the player can understand what's going on. Although they'll still understand 40%, I guess. So let's try Witch Doctor against these. Wow, the zombie did a lot of damage. Oh, wait, they're going to kill them all pretty evenly, won't they? Unless the poison kills this. All right, so we got our new zombie with 40% life. We got a new zombie with 40% life up there. This is kind of hard to see. So let's do this. I'll speed this up a little bit so I don't need to wait. There we go. Okay, so there's our new zombie. There's another new zombie, and there's another new one. They die pretty quickly. I think I like this, and I think this still has a lot of the flavor of the original one. So I intentionally set their life because of that zombie curse, which does what exactly? Curse percent damage per tick, 17%. Okay, so 17% means that 3 ticks would even kill something that had 50% life. So we might as well be generous and give them 50% life. However, the Witch Doctor also has an ability here, Vampiric Bite, which makes them heal themselves. So if we had points in this, then that same battle would look a little bit different because now the zombies won't really die. Yeah, so now the ones that would have died, well, they still died. They at least had a chance to bite themselves back up to max life, I guess. But how many points does that take? That's fine. All right, and either way, I guess we already summoned them at 50% before this. So yeah, sure, let's do that. Summon them at this. So I'll put this over here. Public const float. Actually, it could be private. No, it's got to be public, so I can reference it from the other thing. Public const float percent life. Yeah, percent life. Trying to come up with a name for it. All right, now we got to go change the tooltip for this, and the tooltip is going to get a little bit annoying because we have to do a note. So we do this. The note doesn't need to be formatted. What is going on right now? Oh, the format's select. All right, so note, you must be alive for this effect to work. That goes there. Then we delete all of that. Summon a zombie with that much health. And this is going to be a formatted P0 thing. And then we put the formatted note there. And then this gets formatted. All right, so the amount of health, yeah, format number. Wow, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Good job, AI. This is where AI saved me probably like 12 seconds by me not having to go find this and type this all out. All right, so now I'll just go look at the tooltip in the game. I'll save this. Whoops. Whoops, indeed. Save and run. Whenever an enemy dies, summon a zombie with, should say 50% health. All right, looks like it's working. Whenever an enemy dies, summon a zombie with 50% health. Note you must be alive for this effect to work. Nice, yeah. And then let's try it in a battle and just see what 50% feels like. So we'll do that same battle that we had. This. Speed it up a little bit. So main zombies are getting summoned with, oh, whoops. Leave this battle. I don't want Vampiric Bite to be on. So yeah, main zombies get summoned with 100% life. New zombies are getting summoned with 50%. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. Nice. Okay, cool. So I'm going to give a point to Sorrow for that. I know Codex also chimed in, but Sorrow is the one who triggered the reinvestigation into this. So that is now done. Nerf Zombie Legion. It now summons zombies with only 50% life. How does a zombie who is undead die? Yeah, it's like, why isn't your skeleton just battling? Why don't they just battle? They're already dead. This game creator doesn't know what he's doing. All right, that looks good. Percent health looks good. Yeah, and this we should probably get rid of at this point. I kind of want to just save it off somewhere. Let's save this in Scratch. I don't know, code I may want. This code, actually, wait, can I just paste it with the colors? I can, but it looks super bad. All right, so this code is for instances. What is it? Instance map. So that I can quickly test upgrading the town hall. All right, well, now let's delete it. Okay, this has been nerfed. All right, these are all items that I want to get through pretty quickly. Some of them will be quick, some won't be. Like this, I don't want to do just yet, but we're going to need to later. So let's just bump that down the list. I want to get some quick things out of the way. Treasure Spirit should tell you about buying the key grinder if you don't have it. It can be a conditional line of dialogue. It's not really needed here. I'm going to just put this in the backlog. But yes, it is true. You can, in fact, die again. Well, the answers are for the zombies too, right? I tricked you. You were the one who got tricked. You've been trying to get me to say a line this whole time. So I actually did think of something hilarious, by the way, which I might as well share because I think you'll find this very funny, Xyletics. But people are trying to get me to say this without me realizing that I've said this because this will trigger the game. So what I was thinking I should do is I should delete this as a phrase that can trigger the game and still say it, but press a button off screen that you don't see. And that way you think that the phrase still works so that when someone finally tricks me into saying this, it doesn't do anything. I think it would be so funny. But I'm hoping that just no one tricks me to begin with. So you'd never have seen it happen. Can't focus today. Have a good rest of the stream. All right, take care, Leap Your Girl. I hope you have a better time later today or tomorrow. I think it's normal to have days where focus is tough, even if you don't have ADHD. Just sometimes you have a lot on your mind. All right, treasure room should come with a treasure chest so that it does something as soon as you buy it. This I'm not certain about because I'm concerned a new player will see that there's a treasure chest and not understand why it's there. It wouldn't be that surprising. Yeah, that's true. But it would be less satisfying for the person who tricks me if nothing happens. Okay, so normally this is what happens when you get your treasure room. You see two stands here, and you're probably like, what is this? And I guess you could just click them and find out. But also you see the treasure spirit, and it's got an exclamation mark. So I'll tell you how your treasure room works. First is a treasure chest near me, or by clicking one of the stands near me. It's nicely open. You can speed this up by offering them keys. But what if we gave you a chest to begin with? Then I guess you'd see this by default, and then you hover over this. No, I don't think we're going to do this. Okay, that's fine. Tooltips for the keys are wrong in story mode. They say they'll open chests 20 seconds or 1 minute sooner, but it's just really 1 minute or 3 minutes. I don't know what to do about this. This is just hard-coded flavor text in here. We need this to be conditional. And we use this when fetching the tooltip. So we'd have different flavor text for story mode than for bone mode. I guess that's what we would do. Yeah, I guess that's what we do. Alternatively, you could have flavor text be a function that takes in whether or not we're in bone mode and then returns a string. These are all probably going to have to be functions anyway for the sake of translation. Oh, so then maybe that's what we'll do. The exclamation mark would look better in pixel art. Yeah, I was thinking about this morning, coincidentally, because the way we had to get that working, the exclamation mark, is not at all easy. Wait, where's the, it has a script here. Yeah, so this is what we did to get this to work. We had to make the font size gigantic. So it swaps between a 300 font size up to 350 and then a whole bunch of like tweens on this thing. And this isn't really like that bad, but this font size being gigantic, I don't know if that'll ever cause problems somehow. Hi, Sinistello. So your name is now Sin Is It Ello? Is that what you're telling me? Because I don't approve of this change. You need to run this all by the naming committee ahead of time and with enough of a runway for me to be able to do something about it. So yeah, what I'm thinking is we have flavor text be a function. Already would have needed to be a function. Func string, and it's gonna be called get flavor text. And now we go break everything. Get flavor text. Ideally, what we would do here is we would just call translate on this thing directly right now. Can we do this easily? Not like that we can, but now we can. Okay, so translate this and then a comma and then put item flavor text. Okay, please tell me this works. Static using Godot translation server. Is that a thing? Why is that not working? Oh, using static. Oh my God, it worked. Okay. Why not use a sprite? It was just that I don't have a sprite for it right now, and I need to have Quickie draw something because I'm very bad at this stuff. But yeah, we could potentially change it to a sprite. Consider changing the action indicator into a sprite. Would probably look better. Adam McAdam face. I think it's a pretty good name. Okay, so I think we can now exploit this function. Let's go try this out. So let's look at the small blue potion right here. And what we could do here is we could say, we could actually get this from the title screen, which is not at all what we're supposed to do. Gameplay mode selected is challenge mode. Testeroni. Okay, let's try that. So now if we're in bone mode, it's going to say Testeroni for the small blue potion. What is this? How'd you edit all those lines at once? Is this a Vim thing? This is a multiple cursors thing, although you could always do this with find and replace and just typing regex. So in this case, we had, I'll try to make this a little bit simpler. So let's say we wanted to change item ID everywhere. I just select it once, and then Alt F3 is the default shortcut for selecting every instance of it in the file. So now everywhere I have item ID selected, it now has a cursor on it. And if I do any change here, it's doing it everywhere in the file. So if I just want to figure out what are all of my item IDs, I could copy them all, put them into a new file, and then remove all the duplicates. Unique. And then get rid of all these like random ones that weren't selected correctly. And it's like, oh, okay, here are all my item IDs. And now I could delete the word item ID from all of them. And we have an alphabetized list of hopefully all the IDs. We have 191 of these. We could see if that was actually correct by comparing them against this. Yeah, 191 of these. So yeah. I think it's really useful when you don't want to do some crazy regex replace thing here. Like let's say every display name you wanted to make lowercase. I could select them all and I could just make them lowercase here. So now that Frost Axe, Hooded Cloak, like I got rid of all the capital letters. That would be really, really hard to do manually because you'd have to do this for 200 items. And it'd be annoying to do with a regex. Yeah, Row text all lines. Yeah. So there are some nice times you can use multiple cursors, and every once in a while it's like you'll find an advanced trick for this. So as an example, like we have some values here, 3, 3, 36, and 30. And what if we wanted all these to be multiplied by 3? Like we can make a cursor on all of these lines, and then we can multiply them all by 3, and then evaluate them all. And now it's 9, 9, 108, and 90. So like you can do quite a lot with multiple cursors. And yeah, you can even make like a block of cursors if you want, which is rarely useful, but every once in a while it is. Anyway, what were we doing here? Oh yeah, testing out that the small potions are correct. So in story mode, they'll show up as small blue potion, right? Yep, but in bone mode, they will show up as testeroni. Nice. All right, cool. That's how we do it. What's that multiply thing? Never seen it. It's called VS Code Eval. I did a video on some of those plugins that I use there. But yeah, it's just using, or is it called VS Code Eval? I think it is. Anyway, it's in the video. But it's just using JavaScript Eval underneath the hood. So yeah, it is an extension. And because it's using JavaScript Eval, any JavaScript thing you can exploit will actually work. So like A plus B will turn into AB, or A dot repeat 50 will turn into ah. Yeah, will not exist in regular VS, but what will exist in regular VS is emit eval, which works sort of the same, but not quite. They're like little differences. So yeah, this one's built in, I'm pretty sure. And you could use that for numbers if you want. But yeah, every once in a while you want to do something very certain here, like this. You say like 1 and then pre plus 1, and then you select all of these lines and you evaluate them all. And because I had it set to previous plus 1 each time, it's going to take the prior evaluation and add 1 each time. So in this case, we've just made a list of numbers from 1 to 10. Every once in a while, this comes in very handy. Would you say even with a C# stint, JavaScript is the language you're most comfortable and effective in? No, I think C# is... I usually think whatever language I'm using at the time, and it's been almost 2 years of C# now, is the language I just prefer. So if I were to go make a game in Unreal and I was like, you know what, let's use C++ for everything, I'd probably be like, yeah, C++ isn't too bad. I don't want to use C++ though. I do not have fond memories. I can't even remember. I think the last project I used C++ on, like for real, was a tower defense game I made back in 2006, I think it was. And I just don't like the idea of C++. I think header files are stupid. I've never liked them. And I don't like that the language is so vast now that there are entire swaths of it that you just shouldn't even use. Arguably, JavaScript has a bunch of stuff you shouldn't use either. But I think JavaScript as a whole is something you probably shouldn't be using nowadays. All right, so we have a way of doing this. And now I just need to have this work correctly. I think this is a little bit weird, what I'm planning on here. So we need to do this for keys. And how many keys do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, was that it? I guess I could just search for... Oh, wait, we have a category for this. Oh, I could just do that then. How many of these do we have? 7? That doesn't sound right. Item key. What? Glassy key. Do we use this? What? We don't have 7 keys. Something's wrong here. Iron we have. Skeleton we have. This one we obviously have. This one we have. This one we have. What about these other ones? Gold key. Wait. This isn't right. This doesn't exist in the game, does it? And red key. Yeah, this doesn't exist either. I think these are gone. Okay, let me think of the ones we do have. Iron, skeleton, omni, gold. I think that's it. But then I should find one other one that should be removed, right? Oh, no, I see. There were only 6. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so glassy and red don't actually exist, but they're still referenced in the code base. Hey, Mystical Cell. Talking about syntactic sugar, modern C++. Here's becoming a war zone. Yeah, I haven't used C++ in a long time. Now, it is probably nice to get more modern features if you're already familiar with the language and you know what to use. Should I remove this from the game? These keys were what we used to use. We have 6 graphics, and we don't use this one, and we don't use... How do I add to this? We don't use this one. So these 2 are unused. I don't really have anything I want to be doing with keys that I'm not doing. We could just manifest it as like unused item or something. We should probably prune all this down. Oh, I didn't even think about this. Oh, man. All right, let me write this down when it comes to localizing. Need to remove all unused items. Or at least stop translating them and just say this shouldn't appear in the game. What do we do about these keys? And why does this exist over here? Did we use this somewhere? No, we don't. Okay, well, then that could just be deleted. So I guess we should delete these 2 then, huh? Or we just translate this into, or say like this should never show up. This doesn't appear in the game. And then, oops, that's the wrong key. Excuse me. Skeleton key does appear in the game. It's the glassy key that doesn't appear, and the red key that doesn't appear. How am I breaking this? There, yeah. And red key. Whoops. Cool. Okay, so those are gone. So I want special flavor text for these. This says immediately opens chest. That one's actually fine. This one says opens a chest 20 seconds sooner. Yeah, so this should actually be 60 seconds sooner when we're in story mode, and 20 seconds sooner when we're in challenge mode. So shouldn't we just have it be one formatted string? Yeah, definitely. Okay, so string.format translate this opens a chest. Okay. And then the number of seconds is going to be in here. So in challenge mode, it's 20. Otherwise, it's 60. And then just delete the rest of this. And then figure out where I messed up the parentheses. There. Okay, cool. And then just do this for all of them. All right, opens a chest sooner. Good. And then we have one more, I think. Yeah, this one. Okay, this didn't turn out to be too bad. I mean, I don't like that we're accessing this directly. Maybe we should have passed in the function whether we're in story mode or not. But whatever. Opens a chest some amount sooner and adds 2 items to it. Good. All right. Now let's go try that out. Some of these refer to other items. And it'd be nice if this was dynamically added to the game. There's a lot with the item tooltips that probably need to be changed. Item descriptions in general probably need to be cleaned up. Some refer to other items, which should be parameterized. And some have BB code. All right, so we just make a new game and we look at all the keys. Which is a little easier said than done because we need to get all of the keys. So there are some of them. Opens a chest 0 seconds sooner. How is that possible? Iron key. What am I missing? Oh, because I put a $sign there. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't mean for there to be a $sign. In fact, none of these should have $signs. Why are there $signs for all of them? Oh, because of when there's a note? How many more of those do we have? Okay, just look for the $sign, I guess. All right, let's save and run again. Excuse me. All right, load the game. Opens a chest 60 seconds sooner and has a 10% chance to add an item. Opens chest 60 seconds sooner. That's not right. That's not right at all. Gold key should be 60 and 180. There's actually 3 minutes. I mean, we could just do this. We could say 3M. This is not gonna work. These should also be bolded, right? BB code functions dot format number. Yeah, this is bad. Just keeps adding stuff over the years so much that it's like a completely additional language. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and again, if you have awareness and you understand why these things came to be and what they do, I think it's okay. There are probably a lot of languages out there that have features that you probably should just never touch. But they don't remove them because it would break old code. Actually, is that why they don't remove them? Yeah, that's probably why they don't remove them. Because people do upgrade their runtime from time to time. All right, so the reason why this is bad, by the way, is because we don't translate these numbers. So it's 60S. S only works in English. Well, maybe in other languages too, but it definitely works in English and probably not in some other languages. I'm sure there's got to be other words for seconds. So we really should translate this too. And I've been putting this off for a while. I think we need a format like seconds that has whatever the shorthand is for this and has a translated string. Because the word translate doesn't appear in this whole file, right? No, it doesn't. And it doesn't need to yet, but it's about to have a need. Oh boy. Okay, well, let's do it, I guess. So public static string format seconds. And this should just be a number. So kind of like this, I guess. 60 Spanish seconds. All right, so get its toString. If it's null, return nothing. I think this would be a problem if it's null. But anyway, a format number, and then we need to translate something here. God, this is so confusing. All right, how do we do this? So string dot format translate In English, it's going to be 0s. And we're going to call this like number formatting, or I don't know, text formatting. And then we just take the string there, right? Yeah, I think this should be fine. So that's format seconds. I want to format minutes now, which is going to be the exact same thing with an M here. Okay, now we go try to use this from over here. So this is not just format number. This is going to be format seconds 60 and format minutes 3. Yeah. All right, that's for gold key. Oh man. Okay. So, oops. So I want to do this in these two. This is 20 and 60. So both of these are format seconds. So we could change this here to 20 or 60. Okay. And any others? Wait, this isn't 20 or 60 though. I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta go look at what this used to say. Hey, Fat Cat. Been enjoying your stream last few days? Yeah, I'm glad. Omni key. 60 seconds. 60 refers to what? The challenge mode time? Or the story mode time? The challenge mode time. So it's got to be multiplied by 3. So this is just like what the other one had. But this one, iron key was, what does it say in here? I mean, this will tell us everything. 20 seconds sooner. Yes, this is the shorter one. All right, I think I did it. Oh man. Oh wait, no, I didn't because I have 0s there. Oh, it's gonna show 2 s's. Spanish seconds. It's happening. Yeah, opens a chest 60 sooner. But it didn't even bold the right thing. We need to bold this whole string. How do we do that? I mean, I guess we just wrap this in bold. Format string. It's not even format string. Format number. And put that around here. Oh, man. What a mess. This format number only, no method takes 2 arguments. This should have been string dot format on the whole thing. Okay, yeah, I see. There, that's what I want. All right, now we do the same thing up here and we replace it with an S. How do you feel your progress is going overall on the localization stuff? We have removed every instance of localized messages from the code base other than in the source generators themselves. So at some point now I need to delete all of these files. So that's been good, but there are still a lot of strings that I just never even called translate on. So it's probably going to take another like minimally 3 or 4 days. And I think we're going to have to do some of that on stream at some point. Why is it 60S and 3M and not 1M and 3M? That's a good question. I think the reason why is because if I saw 60S and no other context, I would assume it's seconds. But if I saw 1M, I'm not sure what I would think. Reduces the time by 1M. I guess I do know that it's time. Yeah, that is a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what people would prefer in isolation. This versus this. They represent the same thing. It just feels clearer to me to see this. Well, anyway, let's get some of this working at least, and then we'll think about that in a second. Yeah. Thankfully, a skeleton key does just opens it 100% of the way. So we don't need to put anything about time in there. All right, so continue our game. Look at the keys. It's perfect. The 10% chance should probably be bolded, but let's just ignore that for now. 3 minutes sooner. Yep. Well, actually, we don't really need to. We could do this. There's a lot that needs to be cleaned up here still, so I recognize that the bold could apply to both of these things at once, and I'm not doing that yet. I don't want to spend forever on this right now. Adds 2 items to it. Okay, did I miss something? I missed a 10% somewhere. Where's the 10%? There it is. This should really, you know what this should be? It should be like this. And it's supposed to be 10%. So we should take a format number and then this. Yeah, that's what we really should do. But isn't there still a problem with this? Yeah, it's the how do we get 10? Oh, where is that? Treasure room, maybe? Something knows that it has a 10% chance. Treasure chest? I don't know where we coded this. Oh, there it is. Oh, and it's just hard-coded. Yeah, great. Okay. Well, let's put this up here. Public const double chance, or like iron key item addition chance equals 0.1f. Also, that 10:P0 would have been 1,000%, I think. So I didn't even code that correctly. All right, now I just plug this into here. And then we make this into a float. And put this over in all item data. Treasure chest dot that. Whew, great. Now these 20 and 60 really shouldn't be there either. Don't we have those parameterized somewhere? Time to open in regular mode, time to open in challenge mode. That's in minutes. What about the keys? Treasure chest display? I don't know where I put that. It's got to be in the treasure stuff somewhere. How about we just copy the path of this file, cd into that directory, and search for 60. Aha, time reduction per key. I found it. It is in treasure chest. How did I miss that? Time reduction per key. I still don't see it. Oh my god, because it's like way down here. Per key and per rare key. These should be constant somewhere. And what is this? Is this even used? Times 3. I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm just going to write somewhere that they should use this. The keys should use this in their description. And this. Okay, let's just look at this again. I'm kind of sick of doing this. This is a waste of time. I don't care if there's hard-coded values in both places at this point. All right, opens the chest 60% sooner, has a 10% chance to add an item to the chest. Opens it 3 minutes sooner, adds 2 items to it. Okay, so here's what we got to do now. We got to get rid of these, and the easiest way to get rid of them is to just feed them to the garbage slime. Goodbye, keys. And then we need to go see the special keys. And now we have enough money for that, and we should see a purple one at some point and a skeleton key at some point. There's a purple one, and what about a skeleton key? I think they have a pretty rare chance of showing up, as evidenced by not seeing any of them. Oh, come on. There we go. Opens the chest 3 minutes sooner and adds 1 Omni Orb, which powers up all adventurers to it. And immediately opens the chest and adds 2 Omni Orbs, which power up all adventurers. Yeah, cool. Perfect. Wait, right? Those are correct? So 3 minutes, 3 minutes. And I don't have the iron keys anymore. Anyway, those are all 3 minutes. And then in bone mode, we make a new game. And we got to get the treasure room. Build the treasure room. Now we got to get keys, but I can't just right click this. So I got to get keys by doing this. And then just speed this up. Opens just 20 seconds sooner. Okay, that's good. Unfortunately, the chance of getting a rare key is very low. And the only way to increase that chance is to get new perks. And what are the odds of finding those perks? I mean, I guess we can just keep clicking this until we finally get it. It's going to take a long time. Even just like one level of this would be nice. Come on. Come on. Why can't it show up? I still haven't found it yet. Nope, there it is. Oh, I almost clicked past it. Okay, we got one level. Let's try to get one more level of this. Special keys. There it is. Okay, cool. So we got 2 levels. So now we can look at this. So 60 seconds sooner, 60 seconds, 20 seconds. Now should I try to get a skeleton key? I think it's going to take too long. And a skeleton might take it before I get to read it. 60 seconds as an Omni Orb. So far, so good. Let's add a bunch of customers. I can't drag these because of a different bug. Gotta fix that. Oh, come on. Give me a skeleton key. Please. I don't think it's going to happen. You know, if we just get garbage time. No, we don't have garbage time. We're waiting for customers. Are we adding customers here? Yeah, we're adding customers. Okay. So just give me the skeleton key. At this point, it'd be faster for me to change the code. But I'm dug in. And we're going to get a skeleton key by hook or by crook here. Oh, there it is. Oh, there's no point. This doesn't even differ based on the mode. That was worthless. Yeah, but you have to pull their hair up and not out. All right, let's check that in. Wow, that was a long time to work on this. Yeah, this all looks good. That's good. That's good. That's deleted. And we just need comments for these functions. Function to format seconds. That allows for localization to change the format. In English, this is just, this looks like 5S. Yeah. All right, and this is a function like format seconds, but for minutes. In English, this looks like 5M. Yeah, I might as well just make the example sort of line up here. Okie dokie. And that's it. And this F12 works, right? Yeah. All right, so what did I do? Fix key descriptions. The keys in the game would always show their bone mode values for reducing time. Now it's based on which mode you're in. Now it properly reflects which mode you're in. Yeah, that commit took a long time. Okay, so that's done. I don't know how I feel about guild items only spawning for adventures that you have. By this point in the game, you should know what all of them exist. Yeah, this is pretty simple to change, I think. Treasure chest has a generate items or something. Something about items. What is it called? Add random adventure item. Here it is. So we get the IDs, and in challenge mode, we allow you to get anything. And in regular mode, we only allow you to get ones you have. So I think we just always use this function. I even wrote this here. I'm not super convinced this is even important. Hey, Lammy. Yeah, I think we just get rid of this. I don't even totally know what my thinking was. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of this. So we're just going to always return this. Valid item IDs. Get for that. Done. And now we remove these two unused functions. So the only reason I could see for not giving you items for everybody is if we wanted to keep them a secret somehow. Like, let's say there was a warlock class. Well, now you would be able to get the items for the warlock class before maybe you have the warlock. But like, is that even a big deal? It's only a big deal if it's a joke, I guess. Like if we have I don't know, a snake or something that joins your team. It's like, maybe that's a funny reveal for the end of the game. And we don't have that. So I don't, this doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm even talking about this. But we got to go test this now. Also, this should be impossible, right? Valid item IDs? Yeah, that should be impossible. I don't think this can happen. It's okay to have a check for it, but yeah. Super cool that all the VODs are still on YouTube. Yeah, they're all on YouTube, especially even from the Botland days. Not that anyone ever want to watch these again, I think. But the last game I made on Twitch, which spanned like 5 years, we have quite a lot of videos. And back then, I was not splitting them in half. So nowadays, I do my morning stream, I take a lunch break off stream, and then I do an afternoon stream. But back in those days, I would just take a very quick lunch break. So like you'll see a lot of VODs that are 8 hours long. This was crazy. And I don't know how I did this. Now look at this. Day 61, still 8 hours. I think maybe toward the end they got a little bit shorter. I still find this crazy. Yeah, 8 hours, 59 minutes. I'm on 280. Are you really watching him? Yeah, back then I felt like it was a lot of grinding, JD. But now I'm trying to be more sustainable in how I'm approaching this. So now instead of streaming 8 hours 4 times per week, it's now, I think, 6 hours 3 times per week, and maybe like 3 hours 2 times per week. So this would work out to 32 hours. This would work out to about 24 hours. So I've shaved a whole workday off, at least of streaming. Yeah, for background, wow. Wow. I'm surprised. I guess if you've gotten used to this voice and nothing different, then you're like, I gotta listen to those VODs. Unfortunately, and you probably find yourself wanting this, every once in a while I probably say something where you're like, what was said in chat? But now I have it on the stream showing above me, so it'll be captured in VODs. But I only started doing that maybe like 100 streams ago or something. So there's probably like 4,000 hours of video that just doesn't have chat in them. All right, I haven't tested this, have I? Continue game. So all this is going to do is when we get a new treasure chest, it's going to give us any character. So we only have the mage, but when I get a treasure chest, we are given the archer and rogue. We're given the cleric and spirit caller. And if I just open these up and we get some more chests. Spirit caller, archer, mage, cleric, witch, doctor, golem. Okay, that looks good. And yeah, I'm not even going to test this in challenge mode. Allow treasure for any adventure. Prior to this, in story mode, we only allowed treasure for adventurers that you already hired. I don't think that's a good idea, because it can be a hidden incentive not to hire someone. I don't think selective loot is even good anymore. We probably need to rebalance that. All right, so that's done. Now this is so vague. Buff Mushy somehow. Codex has been dying for this change to happen. So at the very least, we can change the ability order. Actually, honestly, the ability order is fine. Oh, that's pretty good. I didn't even think about that. It's just kind of a lackluster package right now. I don't know how we buff them. Oh, increased power. I forgot about that. Interesting. How does this thing work? When it kills an enemy, use it again for 25% of the regular damage. Oh, I see. We could power that up a lot. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. But yeah, the character is pretty underwhelming right now, right? Yeah, we could just change some numbers on some of these skills. This is a bad ability. Close call. I think we need to say, well, less than 50% life. Yeah. Close call. Let's change this to life threshold 50. Now, what does that look like? How does that work, I mean? Because we spawn you with exactly 50%. So if it's greater than the threshold, then return. So if it's less than or equal to, it'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And either way, just increasing it from 25% to 0.499% is still okay. Still a big buff. Okay, so that's one change I want to make. Another change I think is preparedness should just go bonkers here. How about we make it 50% stronger at both levels? There. And then I'm tempted to change this to... So how does this work? You'll revive once at 50 and then never again? Is that how that works? How do I test this? We got to make a character who's practically invincible? No, I guess not. All right, let's throw you all into a fight here. I want the mushroom to die. So they're going to get killed, hopefully. And then they'll revive very shortly thereafter with half-life. Oh, that wasn't half-life. Oh, they revive with full first, then half, then they're dead for good. Yes. Okay, so you always get 100% revive, and then the next one is 50%, and then the next one is 0%, so it just doesn't happen. And then the way this upgrade works is it goes to 40, 30, 20. So 100 to 60 to 20 to nothing. And then 30, so 170, 40, 10 to nothing. So in each case, you're getting another level of revives. Yeah, I guess this is working as intended then. Each one gives you one more life, essentially. So we can't really change the numbers on this. Unless, I guess what we could do is maybe change the numbers a tiny bit. Like maybe if we went by 22%. Wait, no. Is that how that works? No, not 22%. What am I talking about? 18%. So 64, 46, 28. But then we get to 10, so we'd add another one. No, there's no way to do that then, huh? Yeah, okay, fine. I don't think we change that one then. That's probably okay. Bruise damage dealt. When using Spore Cloud, there's a chance to use it on an extra enemy and power up your allies after dying. This is probably pretty strong. I never even really tested this synergy. All right, let's try it. So now every time Mushy dies, all the allies get a 40% power bonus for 5 seconds. And Mushy can die how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. All right, so let's see. If I don't have any of these skills and we enter that same battle we were in, we lost and we got the enemies down to about half life and 90%, 90%-ish, something like that. So now if we put in all of these abilities and we try this again, do they magically win? I'm speeding it up so we don't have to wait. They're doing noticeably better, but they're still dying because they're just underleveled for this location. Okay, let's try with another adventure then. Let's throw the archer in. Can they win this now? The mushroom still gets targeted first more often. So they're not able to beat this, but they got this one down to 30%, and this one down to 50%, and the other one's dead. And if I get rid of these abilities now, so that's what let's just take a picture so I don't have to remember this. And then redo this. So in the old battle, this is our ending state, and this is without the skills, yeah. So this was the difference between killing an entire enemy. Yeah, like these life bars are close enough, and then this one's totally dead. And this is with these totally under-leveled. These are all level 1. I'm not convinced the small boost is what's doing it. It very likely is, because just by having the mushroom live 5 times means that there are 4 hits it's taking extra that aren't going to the other adventurers, so they're not dying as quickly. And then the boost to their power is doing some amount of extra damage. Oh, it doesn't even affect all of the allies. It only affects 2 or 4 of them, which in this case is all of them, I guess. Hey, Salsola. That's what I mean. I think Invigorate especially isn't doing much. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, we could try it with just the revive and see what happens. So this is with just reviving. I mean, it's making a difference. None of these died this time. I can speed it up a little bit more. Yeah, none of them die when they don't have Invigorate. But with Invigorate, I think one's always going to die. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, this time they almost won. So Invigorate is helping. Well, okay, that was an especially unlucky battle. I think the mage got like stomped in the beginning. But yeah, some of this too, it doesn't need to be the most powerful thing in the world. It just needs to be something for players to be able to experiment with. And I like this. I almost wonder if we should put another level on this that says like Mushy just keeps reviving and just has longer and longer in between. There's also this ability, which would make them use their Spore Cloud when they're about to die. Mushy benefits a lot from having just a billion skill points. So now what? Will they just win the battle? They might. No, they didn't. How are they doing worse? I think it's just luck of the draw. Yeah. Yeah, they actually beat the first phase now, thanks to Dying Blow. Okay, well, anyway, interesting. All right, so we've buffed him a little bit. I think that's pretty good for right now. Buff Mushy. I just increased the power of some, or the potency of some of his skills. I'm saying he because he's a fun guy. Oh god. Someone take away my streaming privileges. Mushy with Dying Blow gets the dying animation cut off. Yeah, this is a bug I'll fix later. I don't want to do this right now. Beating the Phoenix should probably let you get the second level of the town hall. Oh, yeah. So we had this figured out. We need a tip for the town hall. We need a tip to say that the new town hall levels are ready. We also should have one after like 5 minutes that tells you if you haven't built it. Hey, Unkabara. Are you using Godot? Yeah, I am. And again, Bedro. Okie doke. How much of this do I want to do? I mean, I want to get all of it done eventually, but I'm thinking, how much should I save for the afternoon? Yeah, quests, manifest boss items. I originally want to get this whole list done by the end of tomorrow, and I don't know how close we are to finishing it. Well, we've gotten a decent amount done. This stuff's all finished. So our actual to-do list now looks like this. It's 4 pages. I mean, some of these are not that hard to do. Yeah. A lot of yeah. I think tomorrow's going to be all busy work, just doing this stuff. Hey, Chris. Will this work on Steam Deck, or is it way too early to consider that? Couldn't find an answer. You could play through it on Steam Deck right now. Like if you just went and downloaded the demo, you'd be able to play it. It's just not really optimized for it yet, and it's not optimized for controllers at all. And the Steam Deck is kind of special in that you essentially have a mouse on it. So it works, and some of the buttons do what you'd expect, because I did some coding for it, but it's not great. But I think we are going to do some more stuff for controller support before launch, given the Valve hardware announcements for next year. Are you the one who created your assets? No, unless you count music as an asset. I made the music for the game. Okay. Well, I think this is probably a pretty good stopping point. Oops. What's going on there? It's good enough for me. Thanks. Okay, yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's playable. I even fixed a bug or two specific to Steam Deck and the resolution that we had there. But I don't think it's a great experience. But hopefully it will be by the time we launch. All right, so Skeleseller, what are we writing for this? What do we do? Mostly finished the upgradable town hall task. Is that what I spent most of this on? Yeah, I guess so. And then did some balance changes. Okay. Yeah, so for those who haven't seen the last like kind of couple days here, a lot of what I'd been working on was, okay, so here's the problem we have. You get certain things in the game, like the garbage slime, and there are perks, and all of these costs are within reason for the start of the game. Like 25 gold is almost nothing, 50 is pretty reasonable, 125 feels expensive at first. So you start upgrading these, the costs go up a little bit, but they're still, again, within reason. They're not like orders of magnitude different from what they were. Upgrading this entire garbage slime probably costs, I'm just estimating, 700 gold or something. Okay, great. So now you max all these out pretty early in the game. Well, at that point, you have no reason to come back to this dialogue, and there's no future upgrade for the garbage slime. So what we did is we made it so once you beat a certain boss, and I don't remember which one, and I think this is not going to work to show you anyway because I kind of cheated here. But anyway, once you beat a certain boss, you can upgrade the town hall. And once you do upgrade the town hall, it can put new perks into different buildings. So we got all that functioning, but I can't show it because I cheated to get to this. But maybe we can uncheat our way through this. So if I just open up save.json and we go to highest elite levels defeated. Wait, what? I'm confused. Why isn't the sign showing? Save and load. Oh, there it is. Oh, I know why. Because I hadn't restarted the game. Anyway, okay, yeah. So once we click upgrade here, we get the new town hall. And now we get... No, wait. It's not until the second upgrade. So we upgrade again. We get the newest town hall, the biggest one. And now we get some new perks in here. And then same thing for things like the enchanter. We've got a whole bunch of perks here now. So yeah. So you made that game in just 260 days? No, it was 260 stream days. Days since April 17th, 2024. It was 582 calendar days. Now, that said, I rarely worked weekends. But what you're not seeing is the off-stream work in the 260 days. So 260 on-stream days. The number of off-stream days is really hard to estimate. So anytime I did work in the evening, and any like afternoon time that I would have done. So like today, for example, it's a Thursday. I only stream in the mornings on Thursdays. So I'm gonna go do some work in the afternoon. But yeah, it doesn't get like counted anywhere. So yeah, it's kind of hard to estimate exactly how long I've been working on the game. I guess it's kind of hard to do that for almost any job though, right? Like you might know how many hours you were in the office, but do you know how many hours you worked on a particular project? Like, you probably just approximate by the dates that you worked on it and figure out an average. Anyway, so getting back to, so here's what you can expect for the next week. I think the next week is going to be wrapping up a lot of loose ends for a lot of like sub projects within Skeleseller. So one of them is this whole like balancing the story mode content. Then we need to finish localizing so that people can start translating. So this is so that playtesters can playtest. This so that people can start translating. So essentially my main goal for the next couple weeks, maybe a month, is to unblock other people from giving me value to the game. So once we get all the story mode content in, then I can be like, hey, who wants to playtest? I share out keys with those people. They playtest, they give feedback. I go fix things. Other people playtest. We iterate on it that way. And we are running out of time. So I want to launch in March. And that gives us about 4 months. It might sound like a lot, but that really is not a lot of time. And especially with playtesting, it's like, let's say we got 3 playtesters per week. That's, I don't know, basically like 12 weeks that we have before at some point you can't keep making changes. So you don't have the full 4 months. So maybe it's like 12 weeks. So that'd be about, 40-ish playtesters maybe. And then you better hope you got enough feedback. I volunteer. Tribute, you want to help playtest? I can write that down. Actually, how about this? Can you DM me on Discord? There's a Skeleseller Discord there, and I accept DMs. I'm Adam in that server. Yeah. And that way I can write you down with your Discord name because that's how I'd reach out to you. I'm just messing around. By the way, thank you. I'm just messing around with basic coding after a few years off. Would you recommend getting into C#, Python, something else? I think it depends on what domain do you want to work in. Like, do you want to do, you mentioned an Arduino, do you want to do like embedded stuff, hardware things? Do you want to do something more game dev, more web dev, more something else? Because I think you'd base the language on that. Like if you do want to continue doing hardware stuff, I would say something like C, C++ is probably a pretty good choice still. Oh, actually, there are probably a lot of Python connected things now. All right, I'm going to get used to that. Hopefully that's not super loud when I do that. In fact, I got one of those ESP boards, and I think, I don't remember what I coded in. Definitely not web dev. I like embedded and secondarily game dev. Okay, so for game dev, I think Python and GDScript are pretty similar, and C#. These are good options. But I'd say to look into a game engine and then just use whatever they use. So something like Godot, Unity, Unreal. I think those are pretty good choices. For hardware stuff, yeah, I think C is still kind of king there. Hey, Tim. Thank you for the raid. I am unfortunately about to end the stream. I feel bad that you can't like take back a raid. But shout out to Tim anyway. How is your game going, Tim? And then, yeah, if there were any other domains you wanted, I could answer the question for that too. Hey, Jost. Perfect. Better than yesterday still. I know, I felt so bad about that. There should maybe be some way for you to like temporarily say, okay, no more raids. I'm going to end the stream soon. I guess you could just change the setting to disallow raids and then turn it on afterward. Game goes fairly well. Glad to hear it. Yeah. I think what you're doing is a really cool project. I know I've said this already, but it's short enough that it's like followable. It'll keep people's interest. And it's a cool story behind it. Like by the end of it, being able to say, I made this game in 100 days is not something many people can do. Tim played a game and 100%ed it. Sounds like a Katy Perry song. Okay, sometimes I have good jokes. There's some newer platforms as a person. Yeah. Okay, I think it is time to go. It's 11:50 my time. I haven't been doing work for the last like 10, 15 minutes. Oh, do I still use AutoHotkey? So I only use Windows for gaming, and I don't really have a need for AutoHotkey while I'm gaming. And I'm also kind of worried that if I'm using it in a multiplayer game that they'll like flag me as a cheater. So I don't use AutoHotkey anymore. But I do use an equivalent sort of thing on Mac. So I am still using Espanso for text expansion, and I use that quite a lot. So for practically every emoji I type it using a text expansion. And yeah, this is super helpful. And then for words like organization or technology or infrastructure that are just really hard to type out, or everything, that's a pretty common one. So I use text expansions quite a lot. And then I use a thing to bounce between windows very quickly. And that's also something I would have used AutoHotkey for. Yeah, that's how I type Skeleseller, or like the website or the Steam page or Discord. I think I have a Discord one there. Yeah. Or I think I have a me. No, I have Twitch. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of things that I use text expansions for. Stops working despite me telling the script is still running about twice a week. I think I had some problem with needing to reload, but do you have any sort of errors in a log somewhere? Got Googling exploding head emoji. I think I have a mind blow emoji. Yeah. And by the way, these are the words I would think of when I'm typing them. So I have clown. I guess clown. I don't have anything else I might type for it. But what's a good example? I can only think of a bad one, which is puke and vomit. I think both have the same emoji. I wanted a more positive example than that. I haven't looked or known about logs. I'm not even sure there are any, but that's what I'd probably look into, because if there's an error printing out, it might be easily fixable. If you type Tim, what does it do? It's not going to do anything. Yeah. But T is for the time. No, the T is for technology. N is for the time, because it's for now. And then I have ones like NN for the date and the time. D date for just the date. I don't know what date does. I guess it's the date without the day. I have yesterday's date. I think tomorrow's date. Yeah. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of this stuff. And if anyone wants any of those configuration files, I've got them all right there. But I am finally going to go get lunch. And let's go pass on this raid to somebody else. Also, Kirby Air Riders comes out today. I'm so looking forward to it. I don't know when it's going to arrive, but I got the physical copy, so I've got to wait for it to arrive. Okay, let's go raid. I don't feel like spending a lot of time, so I'm going to go raid this person. Art. I raided them before. They're working on their own game. But yeah, thank you again, Tim. Thank you everyone else for being here. I'll be back online tomorrow. It should be a full day. I am not going to drop in with this raid myself, so if someone doesn't mind just sharing that Adam had to go get lunch, that would be great. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.